Press pause, put the controller down. It's time to talk about the gaming industry. My name is TJ Leo.
And I'm Andrew.
You're not mildly enraged?
No, not this week. I'm
Okay.
mildly overworked, but that's at least productive.
That's fair. That's fair. This is episode 11 of Press Pause, a gaming podcast. How are you?
I'm all right. I am a little bit tired, but it's a good tired because it's been productive. So
yeah, for sure. Weather's been weird here.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of the outside world these last few days. I've been working hard.
We for those who don't know where we live, we basically have like a shield around us. That's kind of what we've always described our town as having, is like a weather shield around us. We have had probably 4 storms the size of our province come through, and didn't get hit by any of it. We get overcast. We may get a little dribble of rain. Like, when I'm talking about a dribble, I'm talking like 30 seconds. But we had like severe thunderstorm warnings and watches all week, and we didn't get anything.
Yeah, we're like on the side of I don't know if I'd call it a mountain, but it's definitely a very tall hill.
Yeah, it's a tall hill. Yeah.
It
An
affects
escarpment, I think they call it.
Perhaps. I'm not a geologist.
Yeah, me either.
But when we do get serious rain, we get serious rain.
Yes, we do.
And we have a river running through our town, so that floods.
A very big river. Yeah. Although it's very low right now because we're not getting any rain.
Yeah, but in the winter, sometimes it'll flow up so much. There's places where the ice will actually run over the roads and block them off.
Yeah, I remember Wilkes Dam going down there and it being like submerged.
And
it was, it's crazy. I would not want to live down there. Anyway, got some housekeeping to take care of before we jump into the show. I mentioned it last week, but I did it at the end of the show, so I wanted to make sure at the top of the show it was mentioned. We are now on Spotify in audio-only format. So if you prefer your podcast in audio form, it is available in the description of the YouTube video. So if you want to just listen.
Tried to jump onto that because my niece, we mentioned the podcast in front of my niece because my sister said, "Oh, Mom showed me your podcast," and my niece says, "You have a podcast?" and I'm like, "Yes," and then my sister says, "Do you know what a podcast is?" And she just goes, "No." So I tried to show her through Spotify, and it wouldn't go through because it's apparently not kid friendly. So I showed it to her on YouTube.
Yes, it's got if there's any swearing, then you have to jot it down as not kid friendly.
Yeah, of course.
So we have some light swearing, I would say. It depends on the episode.
I have more than light swearing, but
yeah, depending on if there's an Andrew rant. Then it's definitely not kid friendly.
No.
But yeah, we're available on Spotify, so if you want to check that out. I tried to get us on.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I tried to get us on Apple Podcasts, but I'm giving up on that endeavor at this point. I'm gonna try and get us on Amazon Music for those that use that service, but I think those are like the 3 major platforms for podcasting. I think like there's Castos and.
Is Stitcher still a thing? I don't know.
I have no idea. I think Transistor's another one, but like
I always just got them through iTunes.
Yeah, which has been merged into Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, but I like what you did with the logo for that, making sure that it would fit in a box where you just had the headphones and the start and select button. I thought that was a good modification.
Yeah, it requires you to have a square logo, so I was like, well, the only way to do this.
Don't want to shrink it down, but you made the right choice with that.
Yeah,
you did what I would have done. So.
Yep. Yeah, I at first I had it just as the Co-op Entertainment logo because I was going to get Wrestling Renaissance on there as well and Random Encounters, just have them all merged into one place. That would have been 10 times easier than having to do 3 separate logins for uploading podcasts. But for now, Press Pause is the only show that we're going to have in audio format for the time being. Maybe at a later date we'll introduce the other shows in audio format, but we'll see. Long-term goals.
Yep.
So, as far as let's get to the show. As far as my week goes, as I mentioned last week, I had planned on going to FanExpo Canada in Toronto on Sunday. I think it's a 4-day event: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I believe it's 4-day now.
Yep, and then went on the Sunday, and I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say.
Go right ahead.
Have we talked? I don't know how much we've talked about it. I've talked about it to other people, but I don't know. I don't know how much you and I have spoken about it since I went.
You showed me some photos.
I showed you the photo, and that's probably about it. Okay, so they have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
I have a lot of complaints. I filled out the survey afterwards, and oof, man, they have a lot of problems. So number one, it should not be at the Metro Convention Center. It is way too small, and way too many people. I think the count at last check was 130,000 people.
Jesus Christ!
It's way too cramped. There's YouTube videos you can look up where they do a tour of the con or the expo, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like wall to wall people the entire time.
Yep.
But they could have easily have had this at Enercare Center, which is the exhibition grounds where the CNE is held, and it's like 4 giant. It's like 2 or 3 hot air balloon hangars. It's huge. It's like, why didn't you have it there?
It might be either too expensive or it may already be booked up solid.
It is booked right now by the CNE, but just move the date to like a different time.
That's tough. They get those dates locked down because they want to be able to schedule guests when they're not at other events. So
yeah, for sure. But I mean, they can do it in the future. Get it out of the Metro Center. It's horrible.
Or just cap the attendance. Like,
yeah.
It's too much. It's too big.
Oh, it was just a sea of people. It was really hard to like stop and look at anything because there was just a constant river of people, and half the people are in cosplay, which doesn't help. So you know, and I will say as a positive, as long as we're on that topic, the cosplays were amazing.
Oh sure, they usually
the people walking around in like the Helldivers suits and Halo Master Chief suits and Spider-Man and Deadpool and crap loads of anime. That I didn't recognize, but thought they were still cool. Very good. Props to all those people. They do amazing work. But some of them were large.
Yep.
Some of them had tails.
Wings.
There was this one guy who, I'm assuming it was from an anime, he had to push around a giant throne with him.
Jesus.
It was on wheels. I'm like, how did you get that? Okay, this is the other thing. The layout is awful. For whatever reason, and I couldn't tell you why, because I'm pretty sure the Metro Center... So the Metro Center is 2 buildings. There's the main Metro Center, then there's a sky bridge that connects it to the building on the other side of the street. And they split it between the 2 buildings, which in itself is okay, but you have to take 7 escalators to get from one place to the other.
Yep. You
and
gotta
there's
go
this giant sky
and down
bridge.
and up and down.
Yeah. So it probably took us about half an hour to get from the time that we left Building A to get to Building B. It was about 30 minutes.
You got to plan in advance.
Yeah. So that was stupid. I'm like, why was this not... This could have been so much better organized. Another complaint is the parking lot that you park in has 1,700 spots.
Nowhere near enough.
When you have 130,000 people, that's not enough.
Yeah.
And the parking garage itself is... I mean, the Metro Center's old. And the parking garage is very low ceilings and 90-degree turns around concrete.
Yep.
Because you have to keep going up and up and up or down and down and down. Horrible. And there's like 6 blind spots. Just awful parking. Just awful. And another complaint, not that I want to go on a negative tangent here, but like there was much more to complain about than there was to lift up.
Yeah, I mean that's why I stopped going to FanExpo.
Yeah, I will not be returning. Shocker. There was no signage anywhere. There was no map anywhere. There was no schedule anywhere.
They didn't have like a downloadable schedule or something?
There was a very unorganized and not easy map on their website. It was basically just all the booths with a number, and then you had to go into the listing and look up what the number is. So it was like, okay, so that's useless.
There's an app that is specifically for events.
There is a FanExpo app. Yes, I didn't check it out. Maybe that would have been better.
Well, there's another app. It's not specifically for FanExpo. It's for conventions in general, and they can submit like there's some kind of formatting that they adhere to, but it just plugs into their app, and you can. I
Gotcha.
have it on an old device somewhere. I forget what it's called, but
Okay.
I used that for Anime North, and it was really, really good. But I don't know if FanExpo uses it or if they have their own dedicated app.
I'll check it out. I'll check out both apps actually, just to see if that was the point.
Yeah, let me see. Keep going. I'm just gonna look and see if I can find out what that app was called.
Sure. Yeah. Speaking of phones, this was the other problem. So we pre-purchased our tickets, okay, and what happens is when you pre-purchase your tickets, you pick a date, so you can pick like a single day pass or the 4-day pass or the ultimate pass. Well, there's a bunch of different tickets that you can buy. So we bought the single day pass for Sunday. And what they do is they send you a QR code by text that goes to your phone. So you bring your phone to the pre-purchased tickets booth at FanExpo, and they scan it. And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. That's going to be real easy. What you got to do is you go to the pre-purchased tickets booth, they scan the QR code, and then they give you a badge. I don't have the badge with me. Actually, hold on. I got the badge.
Oh, this Dead Space is great.
Okay. I should have thought about that before. So this is the badge.
Yep.
Okay. So it's a very expensive
piece of plastic.
Yeah, right? And it's got another QR code on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you scan your QR code for your tickets. They, I guess, like link it to this somehow.
Yeah. And
then what you got to do? They lead you into this next section where I kid you not, this is so stupid. I couldn't believe it. You have to take your badge, go on your cell phone, scan the QR code on your phone,
take a photo of it, and that. Oh God!
And then it leads you to this website where you now have to fill out all of your information: your name, your address, your phone number, your email address. Fill all that out for each ticket that you have, for each badge.
Oh my God!
For each person. So me and my dad are going, okay. And meanwhile, I'm thinking this entire time, I've already filled out all this stuff on my ticket.
Yep.
Why am I have to do this again? This is stupid. Instead of sending me a QR code by text, why didn't you mail me this with it already figured out? Or why couldn't I just scan my ticket and have access?
Yeah.
So there's basically this giant room, and they don't tell you this, by the way.
All these people down looking at their phones trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah, and they don't tell you this. They gave me this, and then you go in, and then it's just a sea of people on their cell phones, and I'm like, what's happening? And then I see through the crowd this this small sign on a little post in the middle that says the instructions: go to this website, scan the QR code, enter in all the info. So it's a bunch of people just standing around filling out this information, and then you walk up to another set of people who scan this QR code on the badge to confirm that you've activated on the website.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
So I pre-purchased my tickets just to do all that shit? Couldn't believe it. Oh, it was so bad. And people were so confused. Everyone was looking around going, what if I didn't bring my cell phone?
Yeah.
Because you had the option of printing your tickets.
What if I don't have mobile data?
What if I don't have mobile data? What? I have no clue.
The app, by the way, I found it. It's just called Guidebook.
Guidebook, okay.
Yeah,
I will
just
check that
people like conventions submit their programs to it, and they put it on there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, fucking
So yeah, that was the entrance.
FanExpo is it's chaos, man. It's a pain, and that's why I stopped going, because it was not worth the headache of going through all of that when I could go to Anime North and do pretty much all the stuff that I
like when I went to Comic-Con Toronto.
Yeah,
that was good.
Which I believe is run by the same company.
Could be. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've been to Comic-Con. But yeah, like there's no signage, so you don't know where anything is. There's no schedule posted for the celebrities. You're just wandering around. The washrooms in the main building. So the main building is where all the celebrities are to meet and get their autographs and all that stuff, right? And behind them is where all the washrooms are for the building. So that's all cordoned off with this big black curtain, because I assume that's where all the celebrities go to and from their booths.
That's also where their security ninjas live.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to hear it? You want to hear another FanExpo story?
Alice Cooper story.
Yeah. No. This one's wilder.
Okay.
This one's wilder. So I think it was at the last FanExpo I went to, which is probably 2014 or 2015 or something. I was going to say
pre-COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. There was an autograph signing session. There were some people from Rooster Teeth there. There was Barbara and Lindsay from Rooster Teeth, and you know who was signing in the section next to them? Stan Lee.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there's the lineups for both. People are going through, and there was some weird guy in the Stan Lee line, and I didn't see exactly what happened, but all of a sudden there was a commotion, and he is being handled away by security.
Okay.
And he seems to be having a bit of a fit, and I don't know where they came from. I assume it was from behind the curtain area.
Yeah.
But there were probably like another 8 like big burly dudes who just suddenly materialized. It was like getting into a random battle in Final Fantasy. Like they just sprang
a new challenger appears.
Yeah, they just sprang into existence. I blinked and suddenly these security dudes were there, and I was like, holy shit. They don't fuck around.
Nope, not with celebrities. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So the washrooms, we couldn't find them. We're like, well, they must be behind the curtain, but we can't go back there.
Yeah,
so we asked the security guard where the washrooms are, and he's like, oh, you have to go all the way to the end, and there's a sign there that says washrooms. So we're like, okay. So we get down there, we get all the way to the end, and we didn't see a sign that said washrooms. So we turned around and then kept going, and so we asked someone else. We're like, where's the washrooms? And she points over to this one of the there's like white pillars that hold up the ceiling every so often in that place. And I swear to you, there is a 8x10 white piece of paper on the pillar, written with a ballpoint pen, washrooms, pointing towards a sign and the black curtain that I talked about that says emergency exit only.
Oh my god.
I'm like, what? So you have to walk past the emergency exit only sign to get... It was that kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And then the panels, I couldn't find the panels until the end of the day when we're exiting the second building, and I can see all these rooms on the side, and they have like just a not even a poster-sized thing outside of the doors, and I'm looking at, and it's you know what the size of a poster is, right?
Yeah.
It's just a big white empty space, and then just a little bit of text.
Yeah, like in Magic Marker or something.
Yeah, and I went up to one of them and I'm like, oh, this is where the frickin' panels are.
Yeah.
Why was this not advertised somewhere? Nowhere. So I didn't see a single panel.
Oh, really? That's too bad.
Nope. I got to see all the retailers. I got to see. Let's do positive stuff now because I could go on.
Fucking John Carpenter one year. He was
That's
funny.
Cool.
Yeah, he was really funny.
That's cool. Yeah, I could go on about negative stuff because there's shitloads. But turning it to positive things, I got to see Cameron Monaghan. I didn't get to talk to him because it was one of those situations where I'm like, I'm not he didn't have a huge lineup, but I'm like, I'm just in a river of people, and there's no time to think. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'll get to it. I'll get to the celebrities later.
Yeah.
So I didn't go see him, but I got to see him. I got to see Charles Martinet.
Yep.
He had a
Awesome.
really long lineup. So
Yeah, I'll bet.
that was not going to happen. Saw a bunch of popular anime people. They were all long lineups as well. Saw some of the cast of Seinfeld. They had pretty long lineups as well.
Of course.
Saw Danny Trejo. Is his name?
Trejo.
Trejo. Saw Danny Trejo.
You know. Speaking of Seinfeld, you know who they had as a guest at FanExpo one year? The actor who played the soup Nazi.
He was there. Yeah. He was there. Yeah. Yeah. They had like 3 or 4 of the subcasts.
Oh my god.
From Seinfeld that were there. Who else did I see?
Danny Trejo is like 80 years old.
Yeah, he. I know. I didn't know. I mean, when I saw him, I was like, oh.
How is he still doing this?
Yeah. Yeah. He's looking old. Who else did I see? I didn't. I tried to see Bryce Dallas Howard, but her lineup was so packed that I couldn't even get a glimpse of her. I didn't get to see Felicia Day, so this was the other frustrating thing. I'm pretty sure when I arrived, she was at the private photo ops booths. Mm-hmm. And I saw her picture where she normally sits to do autographs and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, well, when we come back from the other building, I'll see her then. Because I was planning, she was the one I was kind of planning on. If there was going to be one person I was going to pay to see, it was going to be her. But when we got back, her sign was taken down and she was gone.
No.
So I was like, okay, didn't even get to see her. Sweet. What other positive stuff? I obviously, you saw the picture. I got to meet and greet with Victor Lucas, which was definitely the highlight of the show. Dude's just a genuine good dude.
That's cool.
He's got like an aura, when you're near him. That's just like good vibes.
Yeah.
From him, super nice. I got to his booth before he got there because I started to see people like hover around his booth. Yeah. And then this girl arrived. She started putting out his Electric Playground T-shirts that he sells at the expo, or they were zip-up hoodies. Talked to her very briefly about the hoodies, and then Victor came up behind me and put his arm around me. He was like, "Hey, thanks for coming." And I was like, "Holy shit!" Had a nice chat with him about the fact that I used to watch him in Tell Me Tellerico on the show, and
before Tommy decided to tank his reputation with the Amico.
Yeah, unfortunately. Talked about. We talked about how, and this is the other thing I was going to bring up, how there really was very little gaming representation at FanExpo, and he had commented on that. He was like, "You know what? I agree. That's actually why I'm here. I'm here to raise awareness of the gaming industry, to get FanExpo to realize that there are people here that want to see that stuff." Because out of the 200 retailers that were there, I think 3 of them were gaming related.
That's weird because, like, when I was going, there was a huge gaming presence there. I mean, Sony.
I remember when I went back in the day, same thing.
Yeah, Sony had what's that goddamn Quantic Dream game?
Heavy Rain?
No, the other one with Elliot Page.
Oh, Beyond.
Beyond Two Souls, yeah. They had that running, which was going at like 10 frames per second, but it sure looked nice. Pushing that poor PS3 beyond what it was capable of doing.
Yeah,
I played it at the booth, and I genuinely could not tell when I was controlling it and when it was cinematic. Because,
not in a good state at that time.
Well, I don't know if that's the version that got released, but it was pretty close to launch.
Oh no, it wasn't. It ran. It ran like 30 frames per second. It wasn't a 60 frames per second or anything.
Okay.
Like that,
it was in the section where you're like in the forest at night and running from whoever's looking for you. I didn't have any context for the scene, and I think it was a special build of the game because it just kept looping that scene. Unless there's like some kind of dev mode that they can unlock to do that, it's probably a special just exhibition build.
Yeah. No. As far as gaming stuff at the show, there was, like I said, 3 or 4 retailers that sold like retro games. There was one that was really
absurd
good.
prices, I'm sure.
So the non-crazy stuff was pretty well priced.
Okay.
They had some boxed N64 stuff. They had a boxed Majora's Mask that was sealed for like $300. I thought that was
fuck that.
no
For Majora's Mask, absolutely fuck that.
for a sealed copy.
No, absolutely not. That's way too much.
Okay.
It's Majora's Mask. You can get that game in any number of ways.
All right,
It's not
fair.
like an obscure game.
No, it's not an obscure game, but a sealed copy though.
I don't care about that. I just care
well,
about
collectors
the game.
do.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't, but
Fuck them. I saw when I was one of the anime norths I went to. I saw a booth selling games. They had a green label copy of Final Fantasy VII. They were selling for over $100. So like a green label? Are you serious? The greatest hits? Like you're gonna charge collector prices for a reissue?
yeah,
Fucked.
yeah. That was the other thing that kind of bothered me is one of the 3 or 4 retro gaming booths that was there. The lady that was there had like no knowledge of games. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why would you put someone there who has no idea what they're talking about?
Yeah.
Like she got PlayStation 1 confused with Xbox One.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, they're not even the same generation.
Yeah,
you clearly don't know what you're talking about. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's weird. That's especially weird because normally the people I talk to at booths are like really knowledgeable about the subject.
The other 3 booths, they were fantastic. I had good conversations with them. Yeah, it was just that particular one. I was like, I don't know whether the normal guy was on pee break, or what was going on there. But yeah, the rest of the booths in the place were 90%, and I'm not even being facetious on that. 90% of the rest of the booths were Funko Pops.
Yep.
And anime collectibles.
Mm-hmm.
I was bored out of my mind looking through those.
The Funko Pops are like a fucking cancer.
I do have Funko Pops, and I did collect them for a while, but the amount that was there was absurd.
Because they're cheap, and they're easy to stock, and so they just stock tons and tons of them, and it pushes out everything else.
As someone who would run an expo like that, I would look at my percentage of like what everyone is there to sell, and I'd be like, okay, we have way too many Funko Pop sellers. What is happening right now? Like,
yeah, like get like if you want to have Funko set up a booth, sure, why not? Because
have a big booth section that's just a Funko section. Yeah,
because the thing about Funko, like the company, is they make other figures. It's not just the vinyl pops, and they make some that are really good. I don't know why I know why. It's because they're cheap. It's like Beanie Babies, they can pump out a ton of them and say they're collectibles. And have rare ones, and people think, oh, it's an investment and all that. Like I said, it's exactly the same thing as Beanie Babies. It was the exact same shit.
It is
25 years ago.
Yeah, 100%.
And the only ones that look any good are like the Sanrio characters. Like, the ones that actually have the proportions of a Funko Pop character. Like, you get Hello Kitty, who already has that shape and those eyes. She looks fine.
Yeah.
But you try to
especially like normal humans. Like, when they do realistic humans, I'm like, that does not look like anyone.
They're so ugly.
Yeah, I agree. You have to get the ones that have enough, like, character.
Already
visually.
Resemblance to the character, yeah.
But yeah, on flipping it over though, it's like, yeah, I was super disappointed by the retailers. But a big positive. There was a couple more positives actually I want to talk about. Number one, I did not have any negative experience with any people that were there.
That's good.
Everyone, like I go to the X, I go to, events like that where you have to prepare yourself for dicks. Mm-hmm. The people that like purposefully take up the whole aisleway and they don't give a shit. They're not observant, rude people.
Yep.
Whatever. Didn't encounter a single person. In fact, there was some just genuinely nice people. The cosplayers were all very talkative and conversational, and didn't really have any like. Yeah, no events of dumbness or rudeness or anything like that. So that was really cool. So props to all the people that went for being courteous and polite and all that good stuff.
No Stan Lee line weirdos this year.
Yeah, no Stan Lee. I don't not that I saw anyway. I mean, it was 4 days long, right? So,
yeah.
But for the day I went, didn't encounter any dipshits, just for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
What was the other positive thing? Oh, if you like geek arc, can't speak, geek artwork. Holy shit, there are some talented mother knuckers
Yeah,
at that show.
I have a friend who does an artist booth at Anime North every year, and
Nice.
there are like she is incredibly talented, and there are tons of other incredibly talented
Yes.
people. But the thing you have to watch out for now is people trying to pass off AI generated images as original art.
Definitely. Yeah, there was some definite booths there that I was like,
Kind of suspicious looking.
that looks familiar. You know?
Yeah.
But there was also some artists there that were selling stuff that they did while at the show.
Yeah.
So they were doing live paintings and stuff like that and selling them as they went. So that was pretty cool. So if you like artwork, great show to go to.
Artist Alley is always a great place to hit up at any convention.
Yes. It was absolutely fantastic. Let's see what else. I think I've covered everything that I can think of. Oh, not enough seating for the food court.
No,
Not
no,
even,
of course
not
not.
even
Never.
remotely close.
Never.
Couldn't. I'm like, you guys know that there's 100,000 people coming,
Yeah.
and you have tables for like maybe 150.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand. But yeah, overall experience, I'd give it like a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
If you are a gamer, I should say. They did have an Xbox booth there, like an official Xbox booth, but it was basically just Game Pass games you could play. It
Yeah.
wasn't like previewing games or anything like that. They had a lot of photo op opportunities. There was a cool Lego booth where they had Lego sculptures of Mario and Yoda, or not Yoda, Grogu from Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Bowser, like they did really cool stuff like that.
They
Trying to
didn't
think
fly
of
out Steve Downs for the Xbox booth or something?
it. No, I don't think so. It wasn't a big booth. It was like it was small. There was probably like four.
That was another person I met.
Steve Downs.
Downs, voice of Master Chief, at a
Yeah, he definitely
FanExpo
was out
previously. Yeah.
They had some canceled guests that were supposed to be there. The only one I can remember, or there was two that I can remember that I was disappointed weren't going to be there. Keith David,
Oh yeah.
who was the voice of the Arbiter in Halo 3.
And fucking in so many great movies.
Oh yeah, movie
The
legend.
Thing. They Live. Fucking.
They Live. Oh man, classic. Yeah.
What is it? Men at Work. Somebody
haven't seen
throw
that
a
one.
perfectly good white boy.
And Jonathan Frakes was
Voice
weird.
of Spawn.
Oh yeah, voice
Remember
of
the
Spawn.
Spawn animated series on HBO? I have that DVD.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Yep.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes also great performer.
Would have loved to meet him. Yeah, that would have been great, but he had to cancel. The cast of Charmed had to cancel. I remember that because one of them passed away this couple of months ago, I think. So I think she was actually supposed to be there, the one that passed away. So that sucked for Charmed fans. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything I've missed. So this was disappointing. They right on the ticket, it advertises. Where's my camera? No, I don't think it'll focus. But this is an eBay logo. It's not going to focus. But
It's
there we go.
blown out anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah. eBay Collectors Avenue. So I was like, oh man, they're gonna have like some crazy stuff, like an issue #1 of Spider-Man, or like all this crazy stuff. Nope. It was generic crap.
Yeah.
It sucked. I hated it. And there was a lineup, probably like 200 people deep to do like a tour of it, and I was looking in and I was peering in trying to see what they were seeing, and I'm like, I don't see anything worth the wait that long.
No.
But yeah, pretty disappointing overall. But meeting Victor Lucas was a dream come true. Super cool to see him get had our picture taken. Oh, I didn't even mention. So the girl that we were talking to at his booth that was setting up like the t-shirts and everything.
Yeah.
It's his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who he talks about all the time on his current Electric Playground show.
Cool.
She's never been on camera though. She's when she was a kid, like when she was younger, she did a couple voiceovers
Oh, okay.
Reviewing games to kind of get her into that kind of stuff. But she was never on camera, so I wouldn't have recognized her.
Yeah.
Either way, but I was like, oh, that's super cool that you go along with your dad to these shows and help out and stuff. Very cool. But yeah, genuinely cool guy. It's my goal in life now to make this show good enough to where he would be
willing to come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I could have him, that would be fantastic. Or me on his show, whatever the case is. Just I would love to have a good long conversation with that guy. He was so cool.
We'll work our way up. Maybe we'll get Nicholas Pickles on as a guest.
Oh, that would be really cool. Actually,
see if we can go up from there.
Yeah.
No offense to Mr. Pickles, if that is his real name.
Hey,
that man lied to me. Do you remember? That man lied. That man looked at the camera and lied. Remember? So let me. I gotta back up to contextualize this. When we were kids, there was a television show called Video and Arcade Top 10. It aired on Canadian channel called YTV, and we actually stole our letter time jingle from them. That's where it comes from. So when Trevor sings it's letter time, that's where that's from.
It's in honor of that show.
Yes, and Nicholas, air quotes, Pickles, was the guy who did letter time. He was one of the hosts. It was like a game show. They would apparently they shoot like 4 or 5 episodes in a row. The shooting sessions were apparently like 3 hours long, and then they'd break them up into half-hour episodes. It was a game show where kids would come on and they'd play video games. They'd compete like to try to get the most points or get the furthest in the game, whatever. And there was prizes and giveaways just galore. Like if you were one of the competitors, you could get prizes. If you were
I know where this is going.
Yes, you know exactly where this is going.
Yeah.
If
I was trying to figure it out.
A friend in the audience, you could get prizes, and if you got your letter that you wrote into the show read on the air, you could win prizes. And that's where the story is going. I wrote a letter to Video and Arcade Top 10 many years ago, and it got read on the air. Because I was a consumerist little whore back then, I was a child. It was like, I have things. I was talking in the letter about how I have this Nintendo system and that Nintendo, because it was always Nintendo on the show. They never did Genesis or anything. It was all Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things I mentioned was, I might be getting a Virtual Boy, because this was back then. This was during that time. Yeah. And he looked at. I did get one, and he looked straight at the camera and said, "That's one of the coolest things you can get." And then I got a Virtual Boy. In fact, I think I might have actually had it by the time that episode aired, because obviously they don't shoot them week to week.
No.
They don't air until 2 or 3 months after they've been shot. Yeah. So I think I might have already had it by then. And for anyone in our audience who is not old enough to have ever used a Virtual Boy. It was not, in fact, one of the coolest things you can get.
It was one of the dumbest things Nintendo's ever done.
And look, I get it. He's got to sell the Nintendo products. He's not going to say
they definitely had some sort of partnership with Nintendo.
He's not going to look at the camera and go, I don't know if that's a good idea. No. When it's a Nintendo themed show, right?
100%.
But it's just funny to think, I was lied to this man on television.
Yes.
I mean, and the thing about the Virtual Boy, and this is what the real problem is that it's not even that the games were bad. No. It's just that they didn't justify buying this bizarre piece of hardware. Yeah. This was there was the pinball game. Remember the space-themed pinball game, Galactic Pinball? Mm-hmm. That could have been on the Super Nintendo or the Game Boy. It was just a pinball game. Yeah,
there was nothing on it that screamed it can only be played on the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, there were some games that kind of utilized it because it had the 3D, the stereoscopic 3D.
Mario Tennis.
Yeah, Mario Tennis, which came with the system and was probably the best example of it.
It was probably the only really great game.
Well, yeah, they kept making them even after the Virtual Boy died. They made a bunch on the N64 and the GameCube.
Yep.
It was actually a really good game, but even then, the characters look like little paper cutouts because they're just flat, 2D sprites, and they're just positioned slightly differently so that they have depth when you look at them through both screens. Yeah. It was, not worth it.
No, it was not.
But yeah, that was the Virtual Boy.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't. Thinking about that, I didn't see like any like consoles or anything at the show, or yeah, it was just games.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. Like, I don't think you've been to the CNE, have you?
Not in a long time.
Not a long time. So I go most years, I want to say. The show doesn't really change, so I'm going less often.
Yeah.
But there's always this one game, either store or shop, that shows up at the convention or exhibition, whatever you want to call it, and they always have an amazing selection. The last time I went, I remember they had a sealed copy of Chrono Trigger, and I was like, "Ooh, I really want that." I never buy anything from them, but it's always cool to see like just very unique consoles and.
I think you can get Chrono Trigger on Steam now, so
probably, yeah. I mean, I can play Chrono Trigger in a million ways, but
yeah.
I would love to have stuff like that for my shelf. You know, it'd be cool to have that. Like, I have a pretty decent background for the show.
Yeah.
But, it would be cool to have stuff like that for the show. And just for my own personal gratification that I own, you know, a sealed copy of Chrono Trigger. But I digress. Yeah, FanExpo. You guys got a lot of work to do. If I could give tips, move the show to a bigger venue. It's way too cramped. Way not enough space. Period. End of story. Not enough space. Put some signs up. Make it easier to navigate. Find better ways to communicate with your patrons. Is that what I don't know if that's what I would call people who attend. Attendees.
Just attendees.
Yeah.
I think that about covers it.
And have a more diverse retailer setup.
Yeah.
Instead of having 90% be collectibles, anime collectibles, and by the way, I mean collectibles in quotes.
Yeah.
You know, manufactured collectibles.
Yeah.
And Funko Pops. You know. And have more of a gaming presence. Like Victor Lucas did a couple of panels, but I was late because Toronto traffic, I'm sure. And right now the QEW is closed. So we had to take like a back route to get there. But we missed the panels. He did an interview panel with Rod Ferguson, the producer of Diablo. He was also the producer of BioShock Infinite and some other pretty notable titles. He's got a pretty historic career. He also did a Star Wars Outlaws panel with the. I'm not sure if it was with the cast or if it was with the developers or whoever it was with. But he did that. He did a panel with Charles Martinet. A whole bunch of different things, and
you didn't get to see any of it.
Didn't get to see any of it because I was late for the first one because of traffic, and then the second one I couldn't have told you where it was, where it was located because their signs sucked. So yeah, I can't recommend going to FanExpo until they fix that.
No.
If you're a cosplayer, you should probably go. It's a lot of fun for them. I got stuck behind a Harley Quinn on the way back to the car. She had like the giant hammer with her and everything.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's get into what are we playing. What are you playing, Andrew? Anything new?
I have been playing basically nothing.
Oh, busy week.
Very busy week. One of the busiest I've had in a while. I'm going to have that logo done by next week, come hell or high water, I swear. But I'm really regretting the suggestion I made. Because you're like, oh, that's a good idea. And I was like, shit. Wait, did I just make a whole bunch of work for myself? Yes, I did.
Yes,
it's almost done. Almost done.
Sweet.
But that's this been that. I've just been spending time with my niece because she's visiting before school starts, and that's basically been it.
That's fair.
I haven't had any time to play anything. Hell, I didn't even have time. I have not actually sat down and watched the Nintendo Direct, which we will talk about. Except like the only times that I was able to watch any of it was when I would go to the bathroom, and I'd pull up my phone and I'd watch a bit of it, and then I'm done. Okay, I'll go back to work, put my phone away, and I'll pick it up the next time I need a bathroom break.
Yeah, exactly.
So I saw it in bits and pieces on a small screen over the course of
I didn't watch
a
it
few
live
days.
either. I watched it after. Like I didn't watch the actual like direct itself. I watched all the individual things that came out.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I haven't played a whole lot either. I'm basically done with Helldivers at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet. I'm over it. So I played more of Mummy Demastered, which we talked about a little bit last week. I had only played like half an hour of it. Yeah, I would say it's good. I would give it on our scale. Like I haven't beat it yet, but I would on our scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 7. It's good. It doesn't do anything out of the box as far as like Metroidvanias go. It's just a solid.
Sometimes a game just needs to be good.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to necessarily do anything revolutionary. It can just be a good game.
Yeah, it's just a good Metroidvania, and you know, also take into account that it's a licensed game.
Yeah.
So it's good. I tried the demo for Ace Attorney Investigations, which has been brought over from Japan for the first time. This is the one where you play as Miles Edgeworth instead of Phoenix Wright.
Oh yeah.
And you're controlling him in a third person way instead of looking at just a scene.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I like the Ace Attorney games. I don't think I can play them anymore though. When I enjoyed the Ace Attorney games, I still enjoyed JRPGs.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the same problem with Ace Attorney games now that I have with JRPGs, which is too much exposition. It's just get to the point.
There's a lot.
There's just too much talking. I mean, the whole game is talking, but
yeah,
you need to move it along a little bit quicker. But I enjoyed it. I tried Core Keeper, which came out on Game Pass this week. It's okay. It's I need more time with it. I didn't spend a whole lot of time with it, so I need more time with it. And then finally, I tried to play Atlas Fallen, but something went horribly wrong.
Oh no!
So this was another Game Pass game.
So you're telling me that it fell?
Womp womp.
Yeah, that's the correct response to that. That's what I deserve.
So I installed it and I played the opening, and then it crashed. And then I was like, okay, let's try it again. So I started playing it again, and I'm noticing that parts of the ground are like a white and black checkerboard pattern. And I'm like, is that the design of this level, or is that like
that's a missing texture?
The textures is missing.
In the source engine, it's purple and black.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I finished the opening level, and then you design your character, and it's telling me to pick my eye color, and the eye has got the checkerboard pattern.
Oh no!
And then so I just pick one. I'm like, what is happening right now? And then it asks me to pick the color of my clothes, and it's got a checkerboard pattern. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong here.
Oh no, that's not okay.
So I uninstalled it and reinstalled it. Nothing changed. So I texted the developers and I was like, "Is this a known issue?"
Because he can't ship a game in that state.
Well, the game's been out for like a year. It's not a new game. It's just on Game Pass.
Oh no!
I did get a recent update, so I'm wondering if that broke something. But also, the game has like, do you know not DLSS, but like there's like something FSR.
Yeah, that's AMD's.
It's a feature in the game on the console, which I thought was just a PC thing, but it's in the Xbox version.
Yep, you can put FSR on console. DLSS is limited to GeForce graphics cards.
Yeah,
FSR can be implemented on anything. The trade-off is that FSR isn't as good.
It's not as good, no.
But it's platform agnostic, so any graphics hardware can run it. As long as it is of a sufficient, like there are certain features that it needs to have, but like any GPU made within probably the last 4 years can run FSR.
Yeah. So I thought that was maybe the problem, so I turned it off. Same thing.
It can cause issues sometimes.
Yeah, and as of this writing, it's been about 5 days since I texted them on Twitter and haven't got a response. So I might have to do some like delving into Reddit or something to try and figure out if some settings probably just bugged and they haven't fixed it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go back and try that at some point. But yeah, I thought it was very weird.
That's not a thing that should be happening.
I don't think I've ever experienced that on a console game. So that was interesting. And that's it. That's all I've been playing. It's a quiet week as far as playing games goes.
Uh,
But you know what time it is?
is it letter time?
It's letter time! It's letter time! The Big Sicko writes in.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this. I'm
What
sure
will
this
it-
is a person who is totally normal and
The-
not at all
the Big
deranged.
The Big Sicko writes, what will it take for developers/publishers to stop releasing games with major issues on day one?
Unlimited time and money.
Nope, I disagree. It will. This is what will prevent them from doing it in the future. Stop. I'm gonna look in the camera to this one. Ready?
Go
Just
for it.
everybody out there who's doing this, stop pre-ordering games. Stop it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You know it's stupid. Don't do it.
I disagree, because there's never... The fact is, with how complex games are, you're never going to be able to fix everything. It's just why you need unlimited time and money to get all
But
that.
I'm not. So hold on. Just to cordon off my expectation here. Yeah, there's going to be some bugs. There's going to be some glitches. There's going to be some crashes. But we're talking major problems here.
Well.
I'm talking like textures not loading.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking. So the direction this question came from is because Star Wars Outlaws is out, and those that pre-ordered it, you got 3-day early access, and something happened. I'm not sure what it
right.
was.
They like lost their save progress,
All
right?
the saves were wiped. The only way to fix your game is to start a new save. So all these people paid for early access for 3 days, and now they have to start over anyway.
They didn't have anything to show for it.
No.
Yeah.
So I guess what Ubisoft did was they gave him 100 Ubisoft points on the
Ooh.
rewards, and they gave him an in-game trinket.
Oh, goody.
Stop pre-ordering games. Just, I understand the reasoning behind it. People are excited. They want to play games. They want to support the developers. All that good stuff. But games are being released too soon. That game was clearly not ready. It just wasn't ready. There are so many games that do this now that I'm in the position where I don't even purchase a game day one. I'm always a person who waits for reviews, makes sure the game is, half decent before I buy it. But I'm at the point now where I'm like, what is the advantage of buying a brand new game day one, pre-order or not, when if you wait 6 months to a year after the game comes out, A, you're going to get all the post patches to make the game smoother.
Mm-hmm.
B, you might get some DLC out by that time.
Mm-hmm.
And C, the game's probably going to be cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
What is the advantage of, besides being a part of the zeitgeist,
Right.
the discussion about the game,
Yeah.
what is the advantage of playing it day one? There isn't. There just isn't. And these people that keep pre-ordering and keep going, oh, this is bullshit, this is the problem. You have to vote with your wallet.
Yeah, but I still think you're too quick to blame the consumer, because it's ultimately the publisher that decides to ship it early.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
Stop taking your companies public and having shareholders to answer
Well, that's
to.
true too. Yeah, I agree. There's definitely the blame is definitely on the publisher. There's no doubt about that. The developer, they don't really have control when their game gets released. It's all about the publisher's requirements, right? But if you stop pre-ordering games, they might wait. They might be like,
or they
"No
just
one's
might
wait-"
say nobody wants this game and cancel it,
Yeah,
and
that's
try to
true
get a
too.
tax write-off.
Yeah, that's
I hate to be pessimistic, but
no. You bring up a good point. That's actually a good point, because we've been doctored in this industry to require pre-orders to deem whether a game will be a success or not, and that needs to go away. I get that. I mean, we didn't pre-order games for N64 or PlayStation.
No, that came in a little bit later.
It came in like late PS2 or PS3 era, I want to say.
It was a little bit earlier than PS3. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
GameStop and EB Games always pressuring you to pre-order stuff, but it was
Yeah.
it was definitely
It was late PS2, pretty sure.
it was definitely a turn of the century phenomenon where
Yes.
where it became like the this big thing, and they would punish you for not doing it by only ordering enough initial copies to satisfy the pre-orders, and then they'd have to wait for another shipment before they started selling them on the shelves.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about this topic later on in the show in the news. Actually, you know what? That might make a good segue.
Oh, sure. Let's
to our first piece of news.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Let's do that. So our first piece of news is a tragic one.
Oh, before we get into that, thank you for writing in.
Yes,
Mr.
thank
Sicko.
you for writing in, Big
or,
Sicko.
Or Ms. Sicko. Whatever
Yeah.
kind of sicko you are, thank you for writing in.
Yes. Yes, thank you for your question. I appreciate it. As expected, unfortunately, feel horrible for these guys. Sony's live service shooter Concord debuts to a tragic 697 peak concurrent players on Steam. It is an absolute flop.
Yeah.
Of unprecedented levels. This game has flopped so badly. It is easily, without a shout of a doubt, the worst performing PlayStation game of all time.
The smallest surprise of the year.
Yeah, definitely not a surprise. Holy shit.
They're trying to chase a trend that has already been locked down by Overwatch, and has been locked down by Overwatch for a while.
So we learned between the last show, because we talked about Concord on the last show, but I learned something new, which actually baffled me. Absolutely baffled me. Guess how long this game's been in development?
Oh, it's going to be some disgusting number, isn't it? It's going to be like 7 years or something.
8.
Oh, Jesus.
How? How is that possible?
Scope creep, feature creep, just...
But it doesn't even have any.
Massive...
It's missing features.
Massive turnover at the developer. Like, Sony just goes, okay, this team is gone, we'll bring in new ones so that we don't have to pay them, we don't have to give them health insurance after having employed them for 2 years or whatever bullshit.
Something bad happened behind the scenes of this game.
You ever seen the end credits for Halo Infinite? You have any idea how many fucking names are in there?
Oh, it's freaking thousands.
Do you think every single one of those people started with the project at the beginning and was there at the end?
Not.
Absolutely not.
No. Yeah, 8 years. So this game started in 2016?
It's depressing.
2016. Okay? And it's not... This game... Okay. Guys, not... This is a first-person shooter, online-only game. It doesn't even have a ranked mode yet. After 8 years, it doesn't have a ranked mode.
Did you see those pictures where people were comparing, like, the animated promotional material to the actual character models in game? And it's like the animated stuff looks super stylish, and then the character models just look, like, really boring and bland.
It doesn't... I mean...
A lot of the complaints I'm hearing about it is that it just doesn't have any personality.
Yeah.
Which, if you're making a hero shooter, is pretty fucking important.
So I don't know whether I mentioned this. Maybe it was before Bailstorm left the show, but I played it.
Oh, okay.
So I played the beta.
Okay.
Visually, from like a fidelity standpoint, this game is gorgeous as fuck. Super detailed, super smooth, runs well. Detail on the characters is insane, but no personality.
It has no style, no personality. It's just
no. It has corporate all over it.
Yeah, just generic whatever. I've played games like that where it's like at a technical level, yes, it is very detailed and expertly crafted, but it has no visual identity, no signature design language or anything. Just basic realism.
Also, what I want to point out is that Sony purchased this studio because they were so impressed at what they saw with this game.
I mean, I'm sure the studio's work was very impressive, but 8 years on, like, how are you going to compete with Overwatch?
And not even launch with the same features.
Yeah, that would
and
be
it's
like,
not free.
Oh God.
It's a $40 game.
That would be like trying to come out with a battle royale game today and being like,
we're and charge $40 for it too.
We're going to be the top spot. It's like, okay, good luck against Fortnite and PUBG.
Yeah. So, yeah, peak concurrent is 697 people.
Yeah.
Right now, there is 116 people playing.
Jesus.
Now, obviously, this doesn't account for the PlayStation audience, but what I will point out is that Helldivers 2, I think it's something like 70% of the player base is on PC, even though it's a PlayStation exclusive.
Well, it's a
Console
PlayStation
exclusive.
published game.
Yeah, yeah. Same thing with Concord. Same deal.
Yeah.
They're both online games. They both came out simultaneously on PC and PlayStation 5. I fear for their jobs right now.
Yeah, and I keep waiting for one of these things to signal the death of this attempt at making a market, because something takes off and then everybody's playing catch up. I mean, even Fortnite was doing that. Fortnite was originally trying to be a Minecraft style game,
And before that, it was a tower defense game.
and then it came out. Nobody gave a shit, and they said, "Oh well, battle royale is popular right now."
We'll pivot.
They took I think something like 7 or 8 months, and they just took all the assets from the game and built it into something completely different. Now it's a battle royale game, but with building mechanics.
And now it's like $1 billion company.
Yeah, and now it's a massively successful game. So, like, once in a rare while, sometimes you can chase a trend, but you should not look at the outliers like Fortnite that had a tremendous comeback and say,
you can't start this after those come out. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Unless you have a really lightning shot at doing it within like 3 years. This game should not have taken 8 years. Not even close. There's nothing remotely unique about this game. It's just a really polished Guardians of the Galaxy themed Overwatch clone.
yeah,
But like with slight tweaks, like, oh, you don't have regenerating health, you have health bars and you have to collect health pickups to get your health back, and
yeah.
you have permanent deployables that go through the whole match. But like that's not setting yourself apart. It just
Shocking
isn't.
game changer.
Yeah. It's not the thing that's going to push the envelope.
Stop trying to chase the trends that have already because there isn't
Yes.
a big enough market. There isn't a big enough
No.
market. There's like Overwatch is really popular. It's really popular with people who want that kind of game. There aren't enough of those people to support a dozen of those. There's enough to support at most usually 2.
Yeah.
Like Battle Royale has PUBG and it has Fortnite, and those are the big ones. And I guess like Call of Duty Warzone, but I think that's just more of it's there if you also
It's
want to
another
play
mode,
that.
yeah.
In addition to deathmatch and zombies and whatever.
I would even say PUBG is probably lower on the ladder there. It's probably Fortnite and
Fortnite is definitely the bigger one.
yeah.
I
There's
just
another
said
one that we
PUBG
haven't
because
mentioned.
PUBG
Though.
came out first.
What's the respawn one? It's a 3 squad.
Yeah, Apex.
Apex Legends. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably second place behind Fortnite, I would imagine. But yeah, like you said, there's not a big enough market. Like Suicide Squad did the same thing, and it's like you can't make 16 looter shooters,
No.
live service looter shooter. You can't.
People play Destiny because that's the one.
This better be the death sentence for this genre.
Well,
Because-
for this approach to game design,
Yeah.
it won't be because again, shareholders are going to say this is popular, it's making money, make one. It's like, but that takes several years. The market might have moved on. Don't care. We own 70% of your company, so we call the shots. If you don't do it, we'll replace you.
If these shareholders think that putting more money into games like this is the smart idea, you guys are freaking idiots.
Well, they don't know anything about video games. They're
Clearly.
they're just rich dudes who.
Well, I think did we talk about this last week, but WB, yeah, it was either last week or the week before, how WB said that it's thinking about licensing its games out to developers to
Yeah.
make games on its property, and it's like, you went in 2 directions within 365 days. You had, your 2 major games were Suicide Squad, which flopped, and Hogwarts Legacy, which sold like 25 million copies. One's a single-player game with 0 multiplayer. The other one's a live service looter shooter.
Yeah.
Take a hint.
It seems like a. Although I will say, like, I'm surprised that Hogwarts doesn't have multiplayer. It seems like that, like with the 4 houses, and
Well,
it seems like that would be ripe for.
they've got Quidditch Champions coming out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because the Quidditch is like the big thing, but then also like, what about wizard duels and.
Yeah.
And
There's no
stuff like
Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy. They
but I guess if they're
going
to make that a separate game, yeah.
Yeah, which we will talk about later on the show. Spoilers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, rest in peace, Concord. Expect that game to go free to play within like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to. They have
And
no
expect
choice.
it to be under 6 feet under in within a year. Unfortunately,
Oh,
I
if
hate
it lasts a year, I'll be shocked.
Yeah,
if it has 118 players right now.
Yeah, I hate
What
to.
the?
I hate to be doom and gloom like that because those people probably
How
work
can
their
you not
fucking
be doom
asses
and gloom?
off. And
Yeah,
I don't
and I was very supportive of those developers on Twitter. I kept like because they were getting shit on.
Yeah, that's
Left, right, and
it's not
center.
fair to them. They worked
No.
harder. Like they put more into that game than anyone else, and
Yeah.
they're going to be the ones hit the hardest by this.
Yeah, and I gave them super props. I'm like, this game is gorgeous. It's beautiful. But obviously, there was some meddling from people that have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah,
And it's not your fault. It
chase
sucks.
that trend.
Yeah. 8 years.
God.
8 years. In the amount of time it took them to make this game, if we go back in time,
The
just a little
Switch
bit-
came out.
Well, yeah, the Switch came out, but like if
Everything
we
that
wanted
has
to-
happened on the Switch happened in that time.
Yeah, take like a slice of time in gaming in the last 14 years.
Both of my nieces did not exist when that game began development.
They made 3 Mass Effect games in 8 years. I'm pretty sure. And they took them that long to make one.
yeah.
And it's not even a like. There's not even a story mode. It's just a 5-on-5 or 4-on-4.
Yeah.
It's baffling, absolutely baffling. All right, enough about Concord.
Yeah.
Moving on. Next bit of news. So this is a piece of news that I forgot to mention last week, and it's pissing me off. Man, there's a lot of stuff that's pissing me off this week.
Yeah.
this
You're gonna-
is an Andrew's.
Yeah.
stick.
Yeah. Now you know how I feel.
I'm jumping on the bandwagon of rage.
We're already an hour into this, so we haven't
Ugh.
even gotten through the news.
Good lord. Okay. We talked a little bit about Avowed last week.
Mm-hmm.
It was shown off at the show, and I kept saying, it's looking better, it's looking better, it's looking better every time we see it. Well, hold your horses.
Oh no.
The developers Obsidian have confirmed that it will run at 30 frames per second on Xbox Series X and S.
Yeah.
I will not be playing this game until they make it run 60 frames per second. I'm sorry. There's no reason a first-person game should be 30. No.
They
No.
really do benefit from being at a higher frame rate.
Yeah. No. No more. I was promised at the beginning of this generation that everything would be 60 frames per second in 4K, and I'm
Well,
not.
I don't know
And
if
I'm
you
not
were
getting that.
promised, but they certainly wanted you to think.
Yeah. No, they said that it was on the box. By the way, I don't know. We didn't talk about this because I think you weren't on the show. They have removed on the new PlayStation 5 packaging. It used to say 8K ready.
Yeah, and it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, they took that off a while ago.
Fucking
Yep.
give me a break. I'm so sick of this shit. This game will
8K
run at
is a
60 frames
waste
per
anyway.
second. This game will run at 60 frames per second. Give it a year. They will patch it. They
Mm-hmm.
said the same fucking bullshit about Starfield. I'm like, I'm not playing Starfield unless it's 60 frames per second. It's a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
You need 60 frames per second to play a first-person shooter in 2024.
They're probably trying to get it out, and then they'll optimize.
Yes,
They'll make a
100%.
performance mode.
That's what
You
happened
know,
with Starfield.
You'll
Now-
get like 10.
Well, eventually.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, eventually.
In like a year or so, you'll get
Exactly.
you'll get performance patches. I'm sure Digital Foundry will make 2 or 3 videos about it as it goes on. You know, as is always ends up
IGN does
happening.
performance reviews now, too.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah, when I heard that, I was like, well, add that to the list of games that I'm waiting to be patched.
This is one of the reasons why I don't really do game consoles anymore, man. I hate to be one of those PC Master Race guys, but like,
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but they sold us on 4K 60 at the beginning of this generation. They were looking at the PS4 Pro. Like I remember it like it was yesterday when they were talking about the PS5. They were like, PS4 on PS4 you had to on a PS4 Pro, you had to pick between 4K 30 frames per second and 1080p 60 frames per second. On PlayStation 5, we can do them both.
Yep.
Bullshit. You haven't done it on a. I think it's happened on one game, and it was designed to do that.
Yeah.
It was like a parody game where they're like,
There was,
"Hey, look, my game runs it."
There was
4K 60.
there was a game on the PS4 that did that. It was The Tourist, but it has a very simplistic graphical style, and it's probably not very demanding to run.
I'm sure there are probably indie games, that are running at 4K 60, but I'm sorry,
Yeah, and just because they can doesn't mean that they will.
No, exactly.
You know, because developers are gonna feel the pressure to have hyper realistic, ultra high definition textures and everything.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I really don't give a shit about 4K. I couldn't give two shits. I have a 75-inch television behind me, and can I tell the difference between 1080p and 4K?
Not
yeah,
when
I
you're
can tell the
sitting
difference.
Well, when you're sitting on the couch, it's pretty hard to do. When you get up close, it's easier. But when it's moving, there's no way. Not if it's going at 60 FPS.
No,
I value frame rate way more than I value resolution.
Yeah, I always turn on performance mode on the consoles. But then you get stuff like Dragon's Dogma and Starfield and now Avowed that are launching, and Redfall that launch at 30 frames per second, and I'm like, come on, guys, what? No. I'm putting my foot down. I'm not going to play a 30 frames per second game. I'm just not going to do that. It's 2024, guys. Come on, let's go. 60 frames or nothing. I know I sound probably a little entitled, but I'm so tired of it. You know, they should be running at 60.
They should be.
I don't get it, man.
It would be nice.
It would be nice. Let's move into the next piece of news. I'm tired of being negative. The next piece of news is really cool and has nothing to do with a game. Well, it kind of does. This is the first probably wrestling renaissance crossover with Press Pause.
Ooh.
So at AEW, which is All Elite Wrestling, a professional wrestling promotion, they held their biggest event of the year, which is called All In, and it was held in London at Wembley Stadium. And in one of the major marquee matches that they had, it was MJF defending his United States Championship against Will Ospreay, who is from Liverpool. So he was like a hometown favorite for the show. And he is well known as loving Assassin's Creed. In fact, his finishing move is called the Hidden Blade. And he has a tattoo of the Assassin's Creed logo somewhere. I think it's on his arm. But he came out for his entrance.
He's got that Peter Moore thing going on.
Yeah. Except better.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came out with a Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is the next Assassin's Creed game set in Japan, endorsed by Ubisoft.
Yeah.
A special entrance featuring Assassin's Creed. They had a voiceover from the voice actor behind Ezio Auditore.
Oh, cool.
Who was the voice actor in Assassin's Creed 2 and its subsequent two
however
sequels.
many spin-offs they made.
Yeah, I think it was 3 games that he was in. And he came out with a dope ass Assassin's Creed hoodie outfit.
Yeah, I saw pictures of that.
Yeah, and there was some parkour stuff, and I couldn't not mention it because it was so badass. There's some definite wrestling video game crossover with wrestlers these days. I don't know if you saw, this was a while ago now, but Kenny Omega was wrestling in New Japan, and he came out to a One-Wigged Angel entrance.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, and we talked about he did a promotional thing for Capcom where he played Cody in a live action promotion for Street Fighter V, I think.
Street Fighter, yeah. WWE does some occasional Street Fighter stuff too. Zelina Vega is a commentator in, I think it's 5. She came out as Vega at a Royal Rumble one year.
Now, which Vega? American Vega or Japanese Vega? Because Japanese Vega is M. Bison.
Oh no, it was the one with the hockey
mask guy. Yeah,
with the Wolverine claw.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Thought I would mention it. Pretty damn cool. I like wrestling and games, so when they come together, that's pretty damn cool. Next up, there is a demo released that you can play right now for Epic Mickey Rebrushed. This is the Epic Mickey remake. I played it. It's pretty fun, but it's definitely got that old school feel, especially that old school Nintendo feel where like there's too many tutorials.
Yeah.
You know, it's a platform game. I get it, guys. You don't have to, you know.
I know how to jump.
I know how to jump. I know what you're trying. You know, you don't need to show me where to go. I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. But I thought it played pretty well. I'm not going to pick it up or anything like that. But for those of you that missed out on the game originally when it came out, I think it was a Wii exclusive.
It might have been. There was a sequel that I don't think was Wii exclusive.
Correct. Yeah, there was a sequel. Yeah, this is the original Wii one, but now with regular controls.
Yeah.
Cool. Check that out. The Borderlands movie arrives on streaming services today.
Wow, that was fast.
Not good. So I've already got it lined up on my streaming service. So next week I'll be able to tell you how awful it was.
Oh no!
It is my goal to watch that movie this week.
You don't have to do that to yourself, man.
I don't, but I kind of want to.
Oh,
I'm a masochist, man. I got to see every. So I actually haven't seen every video game,
we should get together and get drunk and watch that. That'll at least make it bearable.
I haven't drank in 15 years, probably.
Oh, good. So it'll be easy to get you going.
I'll have one drink and be plastered. Yeah. So, look forward to that next week.
Yes,
next
forward.
Up. Yeah. The rest of the stuff, or this next section, is all about the Nintendo Direct.
Well, hold on. Before we do that.
Before we do that,
we didn't talk about it last week.
Well, there is more news. It's just this is the Nintendo section.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're okay. You're gonna have it covered then. Okay.
Yeah. There's still 1, 2, 3 other non-direct stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, full disclosure, there was way too much to cover.
God, there was so much. We did not want to do another Gamescom style show.
There was about 40 announcements. So we're
and
only going to talk
new
about
announcements or re-upping stuff that they'd shown before, and some stuff that came out elsewhere that's now coming to Switch. There was a lot. The indie showcase and then the partner showcase. What is a partner? I mean, isn't any
third party? I guess.
But indies are third party as well. Like,
it
isn't everybody
just been
a partner?
One giant showcase.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they separated
I guess partner is like big boy publishers, and then indies are just whatever.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah, who the fuck cares? They stuck them together as one long show. It was like 45 minutes long, and it was almost wall-to-wall footage. They had some interviews, but it was
mostly just trailers.
Yeah, which is how I like it.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
I do like that direct format.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about like the major ones. If I miss one, apologies. If you wanted to talk about something that I missed, definitely let me know.
I'll bring it up. But there was just so much, and some of it was only shown for like a few seconds.
Yeah, some of them were very quick.
There was
sizzle reels.
Yeah, a few sizzle reels in there.
Yeah. So the first one is, after a unexpected delay and quietly vanishing for over a year, Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster has reemerged.
Yes.
With a new release date of March 6th, 2025. This one excites me because I've heard a lot of good things about Suikoden. Never played the originals.
I played the second one on the PS1, and I remember it being pretty good.
Yeah, apparently there's like 100 characters.
108 characters.
Crazy.
Because it's based on, and this is going really into it. It is inspired by a classical Chinese novel called The Water Margin. Which I believe has 108 heroes in it. So it's referencing that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a shot. I don't know whether I'll like it or not, but
sort of like how Black Myth Wukong is based on Journey to the West, which is another classical Chinese novel.
That's true. Yeah, so it's cool to see that make a comeback, and it's still a ways off, March 6th of 2025, but it's coming.
Oh, but you can play the PlayStation version right now, and I believe the original is on Super Nintendo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was only on PlayStation. Cool. All right, next up, the Castlevania Dominus Collection
Yes.
is available today.
Great games.
Yeah, it includes Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, Portrait of Ruin, and Order of Ecclesia. Ecclesia?
Yeah.
I know that Dawn of Sorrow is widely agreed that it is one of the best Castlevania games of all time.
It's really the story is terrible, but who the fuck cares? The gameplay
is where it's at.
The story is literally the two main characters from the previous game are just walking around and they say, "Oh man, you remember that crazy shit that happened last year? That shit sure was crazy, wasn't it?" And then bad guys show up and say, we're here to be bad guys." Like there's no build up or anything. It's just, hey, they happen to be talking about the thing that happened last year, which was the previous game, and then more bad guys show up.
We need an excuse, guys.
We need
to
an
have these
excuse
guys
to make
kill
a
people.
sequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really fucking good.
Yeah. I've heard one of these three games is bad, though.
No,
but I don't know which one it is.
None
it's
of
not
them
Dawn of
are,
Sorrow.
None of them are bad.
No.
Order of Ecclesia is a little unorthodox because every ability in the game is a magic ability, including basic attacks.
Isn't one of them you play as two characters?
Yes, that's Portrait of Ruin. Portrait of Ruin isn't bad.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
And it has music by Yuzo Koshiro, who was the composer for ActRaiser, one of our favorite Super Nintendo games.
One of our favorite games. Yeah.
Also, composer of Streets of Rage.
Oh.
And has an upcoming new Genesis game coming out, a shoot 'em up.
Oh.
Yep.
Very
Busy
cool.
guy.
Very busy guy.
Yep.
And talented.
Yes, extremely.
Yeah. I don't think.
Also, shout out and recommendation: go play God of Protectors. Get it on the Switch. Really good game. Everybody, go do it. It's great. I love it.
Go. I don't think I'll play this collection. The RPG Castlevania style never really hit with me.
No, I love it. I absolutely
played
love
as
it.
much as I could of Symphony of the Night, but I never. It just wasn't my thing.
I love Symphony of the Night. Fucking can't get enough of it.
It's widely regarded as one of the best games of all time. So,
Yep.
you know, why it didn't click with me, I couldn't tell you.
Dawn of Sorrow is like generally considered. Well, Dawn of Sorrow and Aria of Sorrow, it's pretty close between the two, but those are basically considered the next best after Symphony of the Night.
There you go.
With good reason, because they're fucking fantastic. Mm-hmm. And that collection is interesting because I was reading, and apparently it's not exclusively emulation. It's like apparently some of the stuff is emulated. Like somebody's been digging through the code, and we don't have all the answers yet. This is stuff that was like being tweeted out today from somebody who'd been doing some digging. But it looks like some of it has actually been reprogrammed for modern platforms, and it's not just DS emulation. But
it's not surprising because they like rearranged the screens and everything because it's a DS game.
You can do that on DS emulators. That's not tremendously difficult to do. You can just have the render outputs go to two different places and move them wherever. But it apparently some of that is running natively and some of it is being emulated. So it's kind of interesting. It's I'm not sure why they would do it that way unless there were, some kind of improvements that they could make. Maybe some sort of efficiency improvement, or
I was
who
gonna
knows?
say it
I'm not
probably
a programmer.
has something to do with them being DS games specifically and running on modern hardware. Maybe they ran too fast. That's always a possibility.
Or maybe they couldn't get it to emulate it quite right, and they thought, "Fuck it, we'll just rewrite the difficult parts that we're having trouble emulating and just have it run native." Who knows? Yeah. There could be a lot of reasons, and I don't know what they are because, like I said, I'm not a programmer.
Yeah, I wish there was
not
a demo.
very good programmer.
No, I wish there was a demo for this one because I'd like to try them, but I wouldn't.
I have Dawn of Sorrow.
Oh no, I can't play DS anymore.
No,
it's too small of a screen. I can't stand it. I can't believe I played that stuff back in the day. It's so small. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sure they'll reduce the price or who knows. These collections usually go on sale for like $13 at some point. So
yeah.
We'll see. But it's available right now.
Yeah, and the Konami collections are usually pretty good. For all the shit that Konami has done lately, their collections are usually pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up. A Balatro update for free is now out. Includes content that is now... Sorry, I can't even speak. Let me start over. A free Balatro update is now available that includes new content inspired by The Witcher 3, Vampire Survivors, Among Us and Dave the Diver.
Yep.
I love Balatro.
I
Fantastic
have
game.
not played it.
Highly recommend it. It is a
Some kind of-
poker-themed roguelite.
Yeah,
Card
some
game.
kind of card game or something.
Yeah, it's super fun. The only thing I would say about it that's not as fun is that it has those roguelike tendencies to just be completely unfair certain rounds.
Yeah, just
where
fuck
you're just
you over.
like, just nothing goes your way, and you're like, well, this was a
Yeah,
complete
like
waste of
sometimes
time.
you trip over and die. Sometimes you punch your microphone. Roguelikes, man.
I'm sorry, microphone. You will survive. I promise. Yeah. Yeah. That's my only critique of the game is like sometimes just you try to go a certain build and nothing
Yeah.
supports it. So like that kind of sucks. All right, next up, Neva, the game from the creators of Greece, has been given a release date, October 15th, 2024. Not too far away, about a month and a half.
Yep.
I was not a fan of Greece, but I like their visual style of both
Dude,
their games.
I hate to call you out, but it's Gree. Come on, we're
It's
Canadian.
just Gree?
Yeah.
No,
it's
call me out. I don't want to mispronounce
It's
it.
French for gray, dude.
Oh, so what is it? So what is Neva then?
I have no idea. I don't fucking know. But you keep saying Greece instead of Gree. Like, I know it's been a long time since grade school, but we did take French.
Oh, jeez, dude. Oh, yeah. Blank memory right there for that class. The only thing I remember from French class back then would be Dis-moi tout.
And that I don't remember. But, like, I
Our
remember
teacher
how
had
to...
a puppet. It was a puppet.
Oh, yeah! Fuck! Oh, God. I just went through, like, the memory tunnel. It's like...
The Nostalgia Palace.
Whoosh, holy shit. Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
I don't even remember the teacher's name, but I remember the puppet's name.
If you gave me a minute, I could probably remember.
The teacher's name?
Yeah.
Mrs. It was a girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Miss... Was it Miss Muir? That was our kindergarten teacher.
That was a kindergarten teacher. Shit. We'll do this after the show.
Okay. I remember all of our French teachers except for her, which is sad because she
Yeah.
was the best one.
Yeah, she was.
Okay. So yeah, Neva coming out on October 15th, 2024. Next up, Sea of Stars is getting free DLC.
Yeah.
What?
There
But
you go.
not until spring 2025.
Well,
That part was a little unfortunate. Have you played Sea of Stars yet?
no.
Do it. Go.
Yeah, it's on the list.
It should be high on the list. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
It is a Chrono Trigger. It's an ode to Chrono Trigger, man. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's one of the best games of the last 10 years, in my opinion.
Mm.
So highly recommend it. Yeah. Amazing visuals, amazing music, and it's got this like gameplay loop that so like games like Chrono Trigger, specifically Chrono Trigger is fine, but games that try to emulate Chrono Trigger usually have the same problem, and that is that the combat it gets repetitive.
Uh-huh.
Chrono Trigger's combat never got repetitive to me. But
Yeah, they had like combo abilities and stuff that
yeah,
helped mix things
the
up.
clones don't seem to get that part.
Yeah.
This one does it better than I've seen maybe any turn-based RPG.
Okay.
They pace it in such a way that by the time I start to go, this is getting repetitive, they introduce something new.
Something changes up. Yeah.
For like and it goes on for like 15 hours before like the whole thing unravels, you know. And then there's still stuff after that, and it just I was so impressed. I'm like, every time that happened, I'd be like, okay, it's about time for a new thing about to
Oh,
pop
there
up,
it is.
and then it would. Yeah, very very good game design.
Okay, that's a strong endorsement. I'll check it out.
Yeah, highly recommend. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, the Capcom Fighting Collection number 2 is coming in 2025. It includes Capcom vs.
Power Stone!
SNK, Power Stone 1 and 2,
Power Stone 2.
Project Justive, which I haven't heard of, Street Fighter...
I think that's a Rival Schools sequel.
Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, and many more.
Yep. And there's also another fighting game collection from Capcom.
The arcade collection, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what that one includes, but I'm sure it's good. I'm a little. These collections kind of confuse me. I'm like, why isn't there just one huge collection?
Oh, because they want you to pay more.
Well, yeah, that's true, I guess.
they want to keep having a product to sell you every year.
Yeah. Or sell these games individually, probably because they make more money by selling them as collections.
Yeah, because like if you did that, who's going to buy like just regular Street Fighter 2? Everybody's just going to get
Project Justice.
Everybody's just going to get Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
What the hell is Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper?
I don't know.
Man.
I love Street Fighter Alpha, but I don't know what Alpha 3 Upper is. It's probably like an updated version with
16th version.
But not updated enough to call it Alpha 4.
Oh man, imagine if it was called Alpha 5. Power Rangers. Alright. Next up. Revealed as a 2025 timed Switch exclusive, Star Overdrive has been revealed. It is sort of a combination of a Zelda game mixed with like Tony Hawk on a space skateboard. Yeah.
Yeah. This one, I remember this one now. Yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused about it being a timed Switch exclusive though. Because that means Nintendo paid out for it. So I'm either it's much better than I'm thinking it looks, or they don't normally do Switch exclusives. So
no, like the last time I can remember something like prominently being a timed exclusive on the Switch was when Sonic Heroes came out like 2 weeks on the GameCube before it came out on the Xbox and the PS2.
Yeah, like they don't do this.
Like 25 years ago or whatever.
We don't know how long the Switch exclusivity is.
It's probably longer than 2 weeks.
It's probably longer than 2 weeks. It also has a Steam page.
Already. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, interesting. So we'll see how that game turns out.
Maybe it's more for the Japanese market to get a lead up on the PS5 version or something.
Maybe. The trailer was bad.
Yeah.
I don't have much good to say about it. It talked about, like, the description of the game is, like, explore an open-world alien planet in order to reunite with your beloved. But at no point in the trailer does it say who the beloved is.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Bad trailer. Alright, next up. Tetris Forever has been announced. It is a compilation of something like 9 different versions of Tetris.
So like 1% of all the versions of Tetris that exist.
Yeah. And they're all like basic Tetris. Like I didn't see like Tetris Attack or anything like that.
Have you ever like just like in your head try to add up the number of different versions of Tetris that you've collected over the years?
So I don't typically buy those kind of games anymore.
I think I own 4 different versions. No, 5. Pardon me, 5 different versions. I'm having to update the list in my head right now.
Oh,
wait. Different versions.
Yeah, there might be more. So I played the Game Boy one, obviously, the original, the NES version.
Yeah.
I played Tetris 99.
Yeah.
Which was really fun. I played Tetris on the mobile Tetris, which is actually really good as well.
The 5th one for me is Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yeah, that one's good. I actually like that one. Yeah. I played that one too. Yeah, so I guess I'm in the same boat. And there's still like a million other ones.
God,
too.
There's so many others. There's like, do you remember
Attack, Tetris 3D?
Well, Tetris Attack is just the name. In Japan, it's just called Panel de Pon. They added the Mario branding and the Tetris branding to it. Like Yoshi doesn't show up in it at all in the Japanese version.
Kind of like Super Mario Brothers too.
Yeah, it's exactly the same, exactly the same case. Just something unrelated and stuck familiar branding on it for the North American market. But do you remember Tetrisphere on the N64?
Yeah, that was a hard game.
Yeah, it was cool though. Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't remake that one for this collection.
Yeah,
but I guess this one's very much like the classic Tetris games, not. I think Dr. Mario might be in here.
Oh, like Dr. Mario Tetris or whatever the fuck it was.
The Mario themed one. Yeah, I could be wrong, but there was 9 games that were listed, and it kind
Did
of
you ever
glossed
play
over it.
Tetris 2 on the NES?
No.
It's actually a lot like Dr. Mario. It's more about
Flipping
eliminating
the colors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty good.
The one thing I thought was weird about this announcement is there's no release date, and it's just a collection of Tetris games.
Yeah.
So
I don't see that as being tremendously difficult to implement,
Yeah,
but who the fuck knows?
I don't understand.
Did you see that one of the I don't know if it's one of the versions or one of like the graphical modes or whatever, it reproduces the look of the original version of Tetris, which is like a text mode from like some ancient ass Soviet computer where the blocks are made up of like square brackets being placed together. It's like a green like a green monochrome monitor look.
Like the classic Game Boy.
No,
The
like a
green.
fucking old ass computer monitor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's there for like a fraction of a second in the video, I think, but I caught that right away and I was like, oh, that's cool. It's the original. I can't even remember what the fucking computer was called. Something in Russian that I couldn't possibly hope to pronounce.
Do you remember the trackball games that they had at Grandview?
Oh yeah, on the computers.
Yeah, but they were like red screens with like beige. They were like red and beige screens.
Vaguely.
I remember you having to use the trackball to get like through a maze and stuff like this.
Vaguely.
Yeah. Weird times.
I just remember the computers there having the trackballs because, well, if you don't have the trackballs, you're going to have exactly what happened in high school, which is people at that point know how to open up the mice and take the mouse balls out and vandalize the school computer lab by stealing all the mouse balls.
Yep. I remember when mice had balls.
Yeah.
That was
or sticking games on all the computers or changing the screensavers to look like a sperm. I wonder who would do that.
His name started with an A?
You could always tell when I'd been using one of the computer labs.
Yeah, I had a buddy that installed Roller
I was
Coaster
like
Tycoon.
Zorro. It was my signature.
Yeah. Oh, here's the sperm.
Yep.
Yeah, my buddy put Roller Coaster Tycoon on one of our computers at school. That was fun.
Yeah.
And Doom. I think Doom.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and Gazillionaire. Do you remember that game?
No.
No. It was like a. I don't want to call it a stock market trading game, but it was like I don't know. Look it up after. It's old, but I remember playing that game.
I feel like I should though.
You would remember it if you saw pictures of it for sure. Gazillionaire.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's what it was called. Well, let me double check. Gazill.
Yeah, I gotta look this up now because it feels like something.
Yes, Gazillionaire was the name of the game.
It
Definitely.
feels
it's on
like.
Steam. It has a 9 out of 10 on Steam. Wow.
Let me look at this.
It's only $10.
Yeah,
Made by
Gazillionaire
Lava
on
Mind.
Steam. Come on, load it up.
Yep, Gazillionaire Deluxe. Yeah, you basically were like a space trader.
Oh, I might have seen this at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you had to go to like.
this is starting to look a little familiar. I think I might have maybe even seen you play this, but I'm looking at like
Probably.
a picture of like a space colony. That looks kind of familiar.
Yeah, for the most part, the game was just a bunch of menus.
Yeah.
You basically had to buy goods from one planet and take them to another planet to sell them for a profit, and you had to play like the market and stuff. It was a game that kind of taught you about, fluctuating pricing and markets and stuff.
It's like Master of Orion, but without the warfare and genocide.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah, and you had to like buy fuel for your ship, and you had to advertise, and you could take passengers and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
It was really fun. All right, moving on. Pizza Tower is now out on Switch as well. I was disappointed at this one.
Can I be honest here, brutally honest? I don't fucking know anything about Pizza Tower except that the kids apparently fucking love it.
Yeah, so it's basically a like almost a warrior. Oh my god, a Wario clone.
Oh.
So like the guy, remember how Warrior used to like charge?
Yeah, do the body slam and stuff.
Yeah, so it's basically you do that for the most part. You have to get to the end of the level to get whatever. I think it's to deliver a pizza or to get a pizza. I don't know. I can't remember. And then you have to get out in a certain period of time.
Oh, so it's like Avoid the Noid, that PC game I used to play. Not to be confused with Yonoid on the NES, which is
No, no, not Yonoid.
also not actually a Noid game in Japan. They just stuck the Domino's branding on it for the North American release.
Yeah, and they do that a lot, don't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Yeah, I've wanted to play this game for a long time because I think it's only on Steam up until now. So I'm not going to play it on Switch because that'll probably be the worst place to play it. I'm just going to continue to wait until they eventually release it.
Yeah,
on
but it'll be
PlayStation.
portable.
Yeah, but I really don't give a crap.
Yeah, it might be the kind of game that works well portably. Just saying.
Yeah. I was never really enticed by this fact that the Switch was portable. I was enticed by it for like first few months that I had it. I was like, oh, I'm playing Breath of the Wild at work on lunch. That's cool.
I haven't had it docked in.
Oh, really?
Since the fucking Metroid Dread came out.
Yeah, no, I primarily play it docked for sure.
It's almost like it is. When I first got it, I was playing it docked and handheld like 50-50, but like it's like 99% handheld now. It's just more convenient.
And that's pretty much it for the direct that I had, other than a not piece of news, which is no mention of Hollow Knight Silksong.
Of course.
Which, here's the thing about that game.
That game had better come out and be the best ever, or else
It better be damn good.
People are going to be upset.
I think what that developer needs to do, I mean, they're probably busy working on the game, but
yeah,
they really kind of need to pay attention to these events that are happening and get ahead of the problem. Just kind of like Nintendo does with...
Yeah, there will be no news regarding the successor of the Switch in this presentation.
He needs to do that for his game. And like, as soon as a Nintendo Direct announced, put up a post that says there will be no mention of Silksong at the Nintendo Direct in a week, whatever the case. Get ahead of that.
Yeah.
And then finally, when you don't say anything, that's when people can go, he hasn't said anything.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that generates excitement.
Yep.
So that's what he should be doing. Next up, you wanted to talk about this. The Stalker games, the Stalker trilogy, is being released for the Switch.
Yeah, which is crazy to me. And I realize that the original one came out in like 2007 or something, but like, I can't imagine this running on the Switch, but it looks like they ran pretty well. It's just... Okay, cool. I hope they've fixed the bugs. Because there are a number of them.
They never fixed them on the PC?
Well, there's nothing...
No.
There's nothing game-breaking in there. There's just some occasional weirdness.
Okay.
And it's usually like, oh, just reload your save and it'll be fine. And it is, but... like,
it doesn't give me much confidence for the sequel.
Well, the sequel is running on Unreal Engine, and the original games were running on their own in-house tech, so they had to contend with both building the engine and building the game.
Mm.
So they were probably like splitting their attention between two different things. Now they only have to worry about the game.
Did you say it was running on 4 or 5?
I believe it is running on 5.
Mm. Okay.
But hey, I mean, it'll be cool to play Stalker on the go for people who haven't already played the crap out of it. Mm-hmm. No mods, I assume. I haven't seen them say anything about mods, which is unfortunate because mods are a big part of that game. People really like the Stalker Anomaly and back when I used to play it a lot, it was like Oblivion Lost and AMK were the big mods, but
right.
There's been so many more that have come out and have like restored a ton of cut content and all sorts of stuff. But
yeah,
I mean, people who are, I think the people who are into that will already probably own it on Steam anyway, because it's been there for over a decade.
That's the one thing I'm a little confused by is like, who is that release for?
Yeah. It's not like those games are crazy expensive.
No.
I don't know.
It seems like the Stalker audience is on PC, so it's like...
Yeah, it's definitely a PC-centric audience.
You're not going to get 80 million people on the Switch buying Stalker, so I don't know.
No, but I mean, maybe they're hoping to get some attention, or maybe it's just promotion for Stalker 2.
It's definitely just promotion to me. Yeah, for sure. It's like, hey, remember
we,
Stalker?
we can't
got
get
sequel?
Stalker 2 on the Switch, but we can give you the first
Yeah.
3 games.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It's an apology.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We only got 2 pieces of news left. The first of which is very weird. Bandai Namco has confirmed today that the Japanese version of its MMORPG Blue Protocol is being discontinued as of January 18th, 2025. For those of you who don't remember Blue Protocol, this was the weird MMO announced, I think it was just about a year ago at last year's Summer of Gaming Fest. I'm pretty sure that's when it was announced. That looked very, very much like Breath of the Wild, and was very confusing to a lot of people. But it's been out in Japan, and I guess it's not doing very well.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
Quote, we have enjoyed a strong relationship with Amazon Games throughout the development of Blue Protocol, and both of our teams are disappointed that we will not be able to deliver the game to players around the world. We have worked hard to prepare the game for... We have worked hard to prepare for the release, however, we have come to the conclusion that it will not be possible to provide a service that satisfies all of you. So they're discontinuing the Japanese version, and that means that all plans to release the game outside of Japan are also...
Oh no. Oh, please don't tell me you lost connection. Please don't tell me I lost connection. Oh dear. Uh-oh. It looks like they've discontinued our podcast service as well. Oh. Oh no. Here all alone. I am texting Trevor. I have no idea if this is still recording. It says that it is. This is all gonna have to get cut. Oh no. Oh,
I'm
wait.
back.
Okay. We're gonna have to do some editing there.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go. It's still recording, so...
Yeah, I was
see.
I was in the darkness talking to myself for a minute there.
We'll see how that goes. My Wi-Fi card turned off.
Oh, great.
So, I don't know what that means. Man, this laptop is starting to scare me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
If this thing dies, we
We're
might
in
be on
trouble.
hiatus for a little bit of time.
You'll have to come over to my place and we'll have to record.
Yeah, we'll have to record it on location. Yeah. Anyway. So the game's not coming out outside of Japan. The game's canceled. It's been shuttered. I don't have much to say about it other than I don't know what they were thinking with this game.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I remember IGN previewed it it was a long time ago now. And they said it was a beautiful game and it was super fun. So I don't know what changed.
Maybe they just couldn't compete with Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
People don't usually play multiple MMOs. They pick one and they stick with it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Or they bounce back and forth between them. I know a lot of people that bounce back and forth between Final Fantasy XIV and WoW.
Yeah.
When one expansion comes out, they'll go back, play it to death,
Yeah.
and then go back to the other one when the other expansion comes out.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Blue Protocol. Rest in peace. And finally, last piece of news. Good lord, I hope this editing is not going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So this is the first true test of our new host.
Yeah.
The last piece of news is PlayStation has announced its free games for September on PlayStation Plus. So any members of PlayStation Plus will get this batch of 3 games. So we've got Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, the game that we had mentioned earlier. I don't know a whole lot about the game. I thought it was free to play, but I guess if it's being offered for free on this service, then
It must not be. Otherwise, there wouldn't be much point in doing that.
It did also mention in the trailer that I briefly watched that there's no microtransactions in the game, so that definitely means it's not free to play.
What are they going to do microtransactions for?
Costumes, I guess?
But it's a sports game. Everybody's in uniform.
True. Yeah, I don't know.
Can you imagine playing a Madden game where players weren't wearing their team colors?
I mean, maybe you can design your own team outfit.
Maybe.
I don't know. That game is, I don't know, but we'll see. I will play it and report back since it's going to be free. You're also going to get MLB The Show 24. That's a big one to be free. Mm-hmm. That's a PlayStation not exclusive anymore because it's out on
first party title.
It's a first party title, so that's rare. So that's pretty
if
cool.
If I sound like I'm far away, it's because my face is turned away while I do an emergency repair to my chair.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
One of the screws that holds the arm in was about to fall out. I moved my arm across it and felt it sticking out like a centimeter.
If you hear a collapsing sound, Andrew is okay. Hopefully. And then the third game... That happened to me
with my last chair, by the way.
Yeah.
My last chair broke from under me.
Then the last game is Little Nightmares 2. And all three of these games are free as of this Tuesday, which is very soon.
That's well timed since they just announced Little Nightmares 3.
Yeah. Which doesn't look great.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks fine.
At least you get to play Little Nightmares 2 for free if you've got PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. For those who haven't played Little Nightmares or Little Nightmares 2, definitely play them. They're great. They're fantastic games.
Are we going to talk at all about the Nintendo Museum, or are we just going to... I feel like we have to at least bring that up.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say other than it looks cool. I'll never visit it.
Yeah.
I wish there was one in North America.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to be in Japan.
The closest thing they've got is like the Nintendo World Store, which also has some stuff like that, but not to the degree that this is. For anybody who hasn't seen the video, it's like 15 minutes long. Shigeru Miyamoto takes you through. They built it on what is apparently the site of the original Nintendo building, which is cool. I don't know how much of the original building is there, or if it's just the site, like the ground that they built it on.
Yeah.
They either took it down to put up this new building, or like massively renovated the old building, because now it's like 3 stories tall, and it was not that in the photos they showed from like a century ago or whatever. But they're going to have a whole bunch of stuff, and not just video games from Nintendo's history. I would be very interested to hear if they make any mention of their brief stint in the Love Hotel business, but but I somehow doubt that's going to come up.
I'd like to see their cards that they used to make.
Oh, yeah, the playing card. I don't know if they still do, but I think they continued to make them just as like a...
collectible.
Like as a gift shop novelty, like you could go and buy like, hey, here's a deck of Hanafuda cards, just like we originally made, back in 1889 cool. or whenever it was the company started.
Yeah.
But I am going to drop a link for you in the chat here. So they have a thing there where they have like a video floor that's interactive. When you step on stuff, it interacts with it. And that's actually tech that they've deployed before. I've dropped a video, and maybe we can put it in the video description for this. It's an ancient YouTube video from, it says here, 17 years ago, and it shows
cool.
a video floor that Nintendo had designed for some event. I think this was from an E3.
Look at that in the water.
Yeah, the fish and the water ripples and the fish swim away. There's what we're seeing is like it looks like a pond with a little bridge on it, and when people walk across the floor, there's splashes where they step, and there's little fish that swim away from wherever they step. It's just this neat little thing, and I remember seeing that and going, that's cool, but like, what could a company like Nintendo possibly use that for? You can't really put that in the home. But here we go.
20 years later.
Almost 20 years later, we've they're implementing it in their company, their interactive museum, which is pretty cool.
It is very cool. Yeah, it says it was at E3 2005 at their Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess booth.
Oh, that there you go.
Very cool.
They also have like a giant video wall where you can do what is essentially the biggest version of Duck Hunt and the most manic version of Duck Hunt. It's not even really Duck Hunt. It's you can use the Super Scope and the Zapper, or at least objects that are designed to look like them.
Yeah.
I'm sure they work totally differently. And there's like a shooting gallery just projected onto the entire wall, which is apparently based on one of their old mechanical arcade games, because they used to make electromechanical arcade games before they made video games. They've got some of their old toys that you can actually play with, like you commented on when I showed you the video, or you looked it up before the podcast started. They've got the little batting thing where it just launches the balls, and you got the little wiffle bat, and you.
Yep.
It was a toy that they made from I think the late 70s or something. Yeah, just a ton of Nintendo history beyond just the video. I mean, they've obviously got the video games there as well. They've got the giant controller thing, including giant Wii controllers that look like they take multiple people to lift.
Yep.
What do you want to bet that there's just an actual Wii controller inside
just
that thing?
Just centered in the things.
Just set it in there with a plexiglass window.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd probably be the easiest way to do that.
Yeah, they had the giant NES controller, so one person controlled A and B, and the other one controlled the
D-pad.
D-pad.
It's so long that you can't reach across, so you need to have two people to do it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that looks neat. They're taking reservations to do tours when it opens in October. You have to reserve a spot to have the chance to buy a ticket.
Yep.
Because, well, of course they're going to be flooded with people trying to buy tickets as soon as that goes.
They're almost treating it like a little amusement park.
I mean, it kind of is. It's interactive, and it's a company that's largely made entertainment products throughout its history, so it is kind of an amusement park.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Do you remember the PC museum that used to be here in town?
Yes.
Rest in peace, Sid Bolton.
Sid Bolton, rest in peace, for sure. Yeah.
It's like that, but it run by Nintendo.
Very cool.
And just taken to the extreme degree.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks really, really cool. I even, just out of curiosity, checked out what flights out there would be. Too rich for my blood.
Yeah, it's going to Japan's not cheap. Not at all.
Nope.
I worked with Sid Bolton's wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked with him when I worked in television. He used to do a tech segment every week.
Yep. I think they're both passed away, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think she passed away from cancer before he did.
Oh, I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah. They did not have good luck at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the museum.
I believe it was all of the equipment was given to some company or some institution that
preserves
handles like tech and stuff. But it's, from what I understand, it is in good hands.
Good, because there was a lot of stuff there. It was very cool.
Yeah. Sid put a
his collection was insane. His game collection specifically.
It looked like the Angry Video Game Nerds set. Like it was just that. It was wall to wall handmade.
I couldn't
shelves.
believe it was in this city of all cities too. Like
that's very cool. Just not that far from where I used to live.
No, it was right around the corner from us. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it wasn't there when we were living there, but no. Yeah, it was right in our old neighborhood.
Yep. All right, that is the news, unless you had anything else to add.
No, I think that covers it.
Cool. Then let's move into this week's topic of the week, which is the title of the show, as always. Popular games and or franchises that we have never played. We wisely decided to do 5 apiece. Yes, this is a much shorter one.
We are like 2 hours in now.
Yes, that's a good thing.
So it's a good thing. And the thing is, when we made that decision, this was before the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
That just was like, we looked at that and we're like, we can't do another Gamescom style show. There's going to be too much.
And there's another reason that it's a good thing we only picked 5, because I struggled. I am a very varied gamer.
I didn't.
No.
Like I said, I didn't even need to write anything down.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I had to dig deep. I had to ask people for help. I was like, I went into one of my Discord chats and was like, guys, name off bunch of franchises and games that legendary, picks, because I'm struggling to find something I haven't played here. So what our sort of rule set is for this? We always have a rule set for these lists. The rule set for this one is basically it can be a game, like a specific one-off game. It can be a franchise as a whole. But we can never have touched it. We can never have played it either because we weren't interested in it or we just haven't got to it for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I unfortunately because I struggled a bit. Two of mine have caveats.
Okay.
That's how much I struggled. Why don't you lead us off with your first one?
Sure, Mass Effect.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about this before. Never. I didn't. I have an explanation. I have an explanation. I think I've given this to you before. I don't remember if I've given it on the show. I didn't have a 360 when the original Mass Effect came out. I did by the time the second one came out, but I didn't want to start with the second one because I knew that it carried on the story from the first one and that your decisions.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I got to play Mass Effect 1 first. But then there's also all this other 360 stuff that I haven't played that I want to get to. Yeah. And stuff kept coming out on the 360
it kept getting bumped back in the order.
And they kept getting bumped back and it just never happened. And I want to go back and do it, but it's like now that there's 3 games that are now in the backlog, it's
they're not long. I will say that.
I guess they're not long.
They're not like 100-hour RPGs. I mean, you could theoretically spend 100 hours on them.
All 3 of them.
On all 3 of them, but you don't need to.
No.
You could probably feasibly get them all done in 60, 70, somewhere in that range. The first one's the longest because it's more traditional RPG, and there's a lot of loading screens. But if you play the Legendary Edition,
I hear there's a lot of elevators that act as loading screens.
Yeah, the first one's really bad for elevators.
Penny Arcade made a strip about that one.
There's actually a really funny story about the first one as well, in addition to the elevators. So, the elevators are in this area called the Citadel, which is this giant space station that they designed to look and feel like it was much bigger than the actual game is, in it. And normally in missions you can run, you can sprint.
You can't sprint in the Citadel?
So you can, but it never felt like you were going any faster. It just looked faster. So,
do they do the thing with the field of view? So
10 years later, this developer comes out and he's like, "Yeah, so we just added a fisheye effect. You're not actually moving any faster. We couldn't load the game fast enough." So
I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
This is not the only time. This is not the only game I've heard this story about.
So funny. I'm like, did you really need to pull a fast one on this? Could you just disable the button? Why did you have to?
But it feels faster. It's a psychological thing.
Simultaneously, though, it didn't, because it was like, man, I don't feel like I'm getting there.
Well, with how much time I imagine you'd spend in it's like a hub world, right?
Yeah, yeah. The first quarter of the game, you spend a lot of time there.
Okay, so I imagine you probably spend a lot of time in there, and eventually you'll start to say, It took me about 5 seconds to run down this hallway. It feels like it's still taking me about 5 seconds.
Yeah. You catch on eventually, and it feels strange. It's like I must be going faster, but it doesn't feel like I'm going faster.
Yeah.
I think they fixed that in the Legendary Edition.
Oh, okay.
So definitely, if you're going to play them, play the Legendary Edition.
Yeah.
It also fixes a lot of other problems too, like loading.
Yeah.
So. Cool, Mass Effect. Yeah. I can't recommend those games enough. 2 is one of the best games of all time, so...
Yeah, of all of the games that I have on this list, that's the one that I definitely want to get around to. Because I fucking love Knights of the Old Republic, which is also a space sci-fi RPG by BioWare.
Yeah.
So
this one's a shooter.
But I like shooters.
Yep. Yeah, it's very good. Yep.
And it's a matter of just getting around to it.
Yep, 100%. Definitely recommended, though. Highly, highly recommend the Legendary Edition. It's very, very good. Okay, my first one is Ultima.
Oh.
I haven't played any Ultima game.
Did you pick this because you knew that I would have the same reaction to me not playing Mass Effect, or is this just a coincidence?
I knew you were a big Ultima Online fan, weren't you?
All of them, honestly. I did like Ultima Online a lot, but I like all of them, man. Ultima 7.
Ultima Online's still going, isn't it?
It is still going.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that game series just kind of it didn't die. It just didn't make it. They didn't make any more.
Well, there's two reasons for that.
Okay.
Number one, they kind of finished the story, and number two, the creator left
Oh,
EA.
so they just didn't want to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
So what happened with that is Richard Garriott, who's the creator of the Ultima series, and when I say he's the creator of the Ultima series, I do mean he is the creator, because this series goes back to when entire games were made by a single person.
Yeah.
Like the first Ultima game came out in like 1981, I think.
Yeah, it's an old game for sure.
Yeah, it's an old series, and he got together a team and put together a Kickstarter for a game called Shroud of the Avatar. And full disclosure, I was a Kickstarter backer for Shroud of the Avatar, so keep that in mind as I talk about this. And Shroud of the Avatar was basically the unofficial next Ultima game, up to and including ideas that they had for Ultima Online 2, a game that they never made because Ultima Online 1 was still doing very well. And because so much of the stuff in the Ultima series was not really trademarkable, and I've talked about this on the show before, but like names like Britannia, that's you can't trademark Britannia. That's like an old name for the British Empire, so they could use that.
It's like Albion.
A lot of that's why we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
The character, the in-game character of Lord British is Richard Garriott. A lot of his friends are members of the SCA, which is the Society for Creative Anachronism, which is an amazing name. It's basically a medieval recreation society, like the kind of people who would put on like Renaissance fairs, with the condition that it is anachronistic. So, for example, if you wanted to do a genuine historically accurate Renaissance fair, women would be second-class citizens, right? At the SCA, their events, they go, no, women are equal, so we can have female knights. That's fine, you know. Nobody's going to get mad at you if you pull out your cell phone, and it's like, oh, that didn't exist back then. It's like, no, you can have your cell phone, you can, you know, all that stuff. Usually what a Renaissance fair will do is it's like, you can have, like, your glasses, because you need those to see. You can have your modern day medications, like if you need epinephrine or something, right? Because you've got a peanut allergy and your tongue swells up. You can have your EpiPen, but most of the time they would frown on stuff like cell phones. The SCA is much more chill about that. But a lot of his friends who would eventually come and help him on the Ultima games, like the music is composed by one of his friends, they all have like character names that they go in character when they do these SCA events, and a lot of the NPCs in the games are named for these personas that they put on. So the guy who wrote the music for the game, his SCA persona is a guy called YOLO. YOLO is a party member in the Ultima games. So EA doesn't have the rights to that because what's his name? David. The name escapes me at the moment, but David Watson. That's his name. David Watson. David Watson owns that name. He owns the trademark for that character. So Richard was able to get a lot of those people involved and have those characters in Shroud of the Avatar as NPCs. He couldn't call it Ultima, because that is still owned by EA, but pretty much everything else he could do. And he did. And the game is not doing tremendously well. I don't know what the future of it holds. There were planned to be 5 episodes, so like basically the main game and 4 expansions. The second episode has come out, and they are still producing content for it, but it has been moved to a different developer. Ooh. And the future of it seems to be kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Ultima games, dude, they're fucking Ultima 7. You got to play Ultima 7. That was like the first open world, like that was the first game where I ever played where you could like pick up anything. You know, like in an Elder Scrolls game, you can pick up like forks and spoons and stuff that have like no actual practical use, but you can pick them up because they're objects in the world.
Yeah.
You could do that in Ultima 7 back in like 1992 from a top-down perspective.
That's impressive.
It's really good. Somewhere around here, I have the Ultima Collection CD, which will probably be of no use to you because you probably don't have an optical drive.
Nope.
But I'm sure I can hook you up if you're ever curious. You should at least play Ultima 7. It's
on
a
Steam?
trip. No, but it might be on Good Old Games.
Oh yeah. That's a good website. I love them. They're good.
Yeah,
They're a good
it might
website.
be on. I'm pretty sure it's on EA, whatever the fuck.
Oh,
Which, by the
Origins.
way, yeah, you know the company that made these games, Origin Systems.
Oh,
So after they shut it down, they eventually repurposed the name for their digital
kind of
platform.
a slap in the face.
Yeah, well, there's Ultima 7 also has a few slaps in the face to EA. Yeah, I'm not going to give away too much, but there are 3 objects you have to get. They are a cube, a sphere, and a triangle. Remember what was in the EA logo in the 90s?
Yeah, old school.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Those are the artifacts you need to fight the evil enemy.
The evil. Yeah, I just checked out Ultima Online's website, and they have blog posts written days ago.
Yep,
So-
they are still putting out content for that because there's still enough people playing to make it profitable, which is
They're running
crazy.
something called a legacy beta. I don't know if that means they're like doing World of Warcraft Classic
Oh
kind of
Jesus,
style
that is,
stuff, or
man.
pretty
I mean,
interesting.
the thing about Ultima Online is that people got server emulation down like years ago, so there have been unofficial. By the way, if you're ever wondering where the term shard comes from when referring to servers in games,
Oh, that's where it
it's
started.
That's where it started because the story of Ultima Online, again, this is going into it. At the end of the first game, you kill the enemy by shattering his magic jewel. That makes him invincible.
Is that what they called it back then?
No. But the story is that when you shatter the jewel, each shard has a copy of the world in it. So that's how each shard is a different server for
I
Ultima
see.
Online. So that's where the shard
That's a cool
terminology
idea.
comes from. Yeah, but I mean, a friend of mine and I used to run a private unofficial shard for a brief period of time. Like it's so easy to do,
Yeah.
and that was like 20 years ago.
I'm surprised EA supports Ultima Online.
Yeah,
Wonder,
well, like I said,
let's see if there's a player count. Latest player count.
It's probably like 10,000 or something, but I don't. If it's still subscription based, maybe
so it
it's
says
worth it.
So, so the average daily is 962 players right now.
That's one Concord.
At peak, it reaches about 3,000.
It's way more than Concord.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
No,
Yeah.
Concord devs, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. There's
feel
nothing
really-
against the developers. This is-
Yeah,
this-
I
you're-
fucking feel so bad for you
sucks.
guys.
Yeah.
It's not fucking fair.
No. No. Okay. Your next game
My next game.
or franchise.
Or franchise. Well, I guess I can't say the franchise because I have played one of them. So I'm going to specifically pick one of them. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I have played about 20 minutes of Assassin's Creed 2, so I can't say the whole franchise.
But otherwise, you
Black
haven't
Flag,
played any of them.
Otherwise, I haven't played any of them. So
Wow.
almost the entire franchise.
Wow.
But I will say Black Flag because that's the one that was the one that I actually kind of wanted to try, but
I would qualify that as the franchise. I mean, if you've only played like less than a half an hour of the second one.
I didn't even get to the part where I was stabbing people. So
Oh yeah, no. Then
I
you haven't
basically
played them. Then.
I played the prologue.
Wow.
We've talked about that before as well.
Yeah. I think there's not much
You've
bad.
you've given me the recommendations. If
Yeah.
I was going to play an old school one,
Yeah.
Jesus, that we can even call that old school now.
Yeah, don't play the old
if-
school ones at all.
If I was going to play Black Flag, and if I'm going to play one of the new ones, you recommended
Odyssey.
Valhalla, right? Odyssey, sorry, Odyssey.
Yeah, if you're gonna play one, Odyssey I think is like it's the one to play. It's got everything from Assassin's Creed. So it's got the combat, it's got the open world, it's got the climbing, it's got the story, it's got the mythical creatures, and it's got the boat, the ship combat. So it's
Can't you climb up a statue with a giant penis in that game?
you can
Yeah,
you can climb anything.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Odyssey. It's a good one. Okay, my next one I think I've mentioned before, and again, this is one of the ones with a small caveat because I've
That's
played
fine.
maybe a half an hour of
Well, that was my caveat for Assassin's Creed.
Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2.
So, Dragon Age was also going to be one of mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's the exact same thing. I played like one of the introductions for one of the character archetypes, and I was like, this is fine, but it's big. I'll get back to it later. And I haven't gotten back to it since.
So I have played Inquisition to and beaten it.
Inquisition, I've heard, is really, really good.
It is very good. The problem with this series at this point is that Dragon Age Origins and 2 are so old. They didn't. I can't go back at this point.
It's hard to, yeah.
Inquisition is getting to that point. It's tough. It's tough to go back to. It's very rigid. Very. I don't know. It's doable. If you haven't played it, it's doable. If you've already played it, I've tried to go back and play it a couple times, and I'm like, yeah,
that happens sometimes.
it's slightly.
I don't think I could go back and play Gun after Red Dead Redemption. You remember Gun?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember enjoying it a lot.
Wait, no,
then...
wasn't it Red Dead Revolver?
No, Gun. Red Dead Revolver was another one, but Gun was like Red Dead Revolver and Gun kind of came out around the same. Like I think they
very
were
similar. Yeah,
within like a year of each other. And I haven't played Red Dead Revolver, but I did play Gun, and I really enjoyed Gun. And sometimes I think about going back to it, and then I remember, yeah, but I already have Red Dead Redemption. Which I feel like, yeah, and it's just a better game in every way.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm upset that I never got to really see what the hubbub was about with those games because they kind of simultaneously came out with the Mass Effect games, and I love the Mass Effect games. So
yeah,
it
kind of felt like them going back to their Baldur's Gate roots, but without the D&D license.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm really hoping that Veilguard turns out really well because that'll be my continuation with that series. But
yeah.
All right, what's your next one?
My next one, fucking Fortnite.
You never played Fortnite at all, eh?
No.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of it. I've played a number of matches, and I've played the single-player stuff. Yeah, it's not for me. Clearly.
It seems like the kind of game that you have to get into to, like, really enjoy, and it doesn't feel like something I could just casually jump into and be like, oh, yeah, sure. Man,
no, you have to commit. It's a forever game, whatever you want to call those ones, right?
Yeah, and I'm not into those.
It is pretty cool that they've made Fortnite a platform now, though. I don't know if you know this, but
yeah,
Fortnite's not just one game now. There's what do they call it? Rocket Racing. There's like four or five games that are in the Fortnite.
Yeah.
So you download Fortnite, but you get to play like 5 different games.
Yeah, there's like an ecosystem.
Yeah. The Rocket Racing.
And then within there's the Epic Games Store. So you've got an ecosystem within an ecosystem.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yep. I think there's a not single player, but there's like a co-op kind of a game mode in Fortnite too.
Isn't it like Save the World? Like based on what the game was originally going to be.
Yeah, like it's like a build the world, like crafting and stuff. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know if it's any good though.
Yeah.
All right. My next one I've mentioned before, so we don't really need to go too deep into it. But Silent Hill.
Yeah.
I haven't played a single one. I know that there's Silent Hill, Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 3, Silent Hill The Room, Homecoming.
Silent Hill 2. Well, Silent Hill 1 is definitely worth playing. Silent Hill 2 is the best
The
one.
best one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's not technically true. I played the short message, but I don't know if you would call that like, an official Silent Hill game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just never played any of those games.
I forget, do you still have a PS2 hooked up?
No.
No.
I have a PS2, but I don't have the cables for it, and it's...
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right.
Almost all of my classic consoles are that way. The only one that's not is GameCube. I have the GameCube stuff still.
Do you have component cables for the GameCube, or...?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on to those. Those are rare.
They're not... they are, but they're a third-party one.
Okay, but still, I went looking for some a few years ago, and I couldn't fucking find any, first or third party, because they have the digital to analog converter chip in the cable.
Yeah.
It's not on the GameCube hardware itself.
No.
So that's why you can't just use a generic one.
Yeah. I specifically did that because I wanted to maintain my ability to play Eternal Darkness, because and Skies of Arcadia. Especially.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that, and by the time I was like, oh yeah, I'd like to play GameCube again, it was like, I can't fucking do these composite cables. It looks like garbage.
The one I'm most frustrated that I can't hook up is the 64. I had the cable still, with the one that hooks up into your coax.
Oh yeah, the RF.
Yeah, but the problem was that
I don't think it's worth it.
Well, it was like a coax cable that connected to a little box, and then from the box it went to the 64, and the box like collapsed.
Oh yeah, I've played my Super Nintendo on my HD TV through coax. It's
ugly, I'm sure.
It looks a little bit like a Blizzard.
Do they have like
very fuzzy
a HDMI converter or a component cable converter for it?
There are a number of mods you can do. There's a few products. There's like the OSSC. There's the FrameMeister. The RetroTink is the big one. The RetroTink 4K is the newest one. It apparently works really well.
4K and 64.
Yeah, well, if you want to get it scaled to your 4K television, that's what you got to use. But it's apparently like $600 US.
Oh, no, yeah.
But
I'd rather just play the Nintendo 64 or the Nintendo Online versions.
Yeah, well, you can get there are other RetroTink products like the RetroTink 5X, which is the one, the previous one, is like a fraction of that.
Yeah,
like the 4K is if you want. Like I have seen people who do professional video restoration say that they use the RetroTink 4K to like capture footage off of old like VHS tapes and stuff, because that's how good a job it does at handling that
better
signal.
For that amount of money.
Yeah, but like, if you're not like if we were a Let's Play channel, and we were monetized, then it would be worth it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But we're not. Yeah. So
maybe one day
get the 5X. I think it can be had for like $150.
Maybe
which is
one day. Not
still
worth enough for me.
Still a lot, but
my N64 collection is not good enough for me to spend that kind of money.
Yeah,
I have like maybe 9 games, so it's not great.
Yeah.
All right, is it my turn or your turn? I
did Silent Hill. Yeah,
it's your turn, I think.
Overwatch.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Have you played any hero shooter?
No. I mean, I've played Team Fortress 2, which is kind of like the progenitor of the idea.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised. We should try it.
Maybe, but
it's free. You know?
Yeah, but I fucking.
You don't like PvP, I know.
No, it's Blizzard, man. It hurts.
Well, we can play Paladins instead.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can give Paladins a try, I guess.
Paladins is pretty good. It's more complicated than Overwatch, though. That's the only problem. But it's
sometime we can give it a shot.
Yeah. All right. My next one also has a slight edit caveat.
I'd go for it.
Dynasty Warriors is the franchise.
Oh, yeah.
However, technically...
Did you play Hyrule Warriors?
Yeah, I played Hyrule.
Yeah, this is the exact same for me.
Yeah.
I played Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah. Which I thought was fun, but I definitely wouldn't like... I think there was a sequel, wasn't there?
There was a sequel on the Switch.
Yeah, and I definitely never played that.
I have played a little bit of that one. It is actually a little bit more interesting because the characters are a little more varied. But
it's a stupid fun game. Like where you have, it's not challenging. It's just Hey,
It's
do you
like
want to blow
Gauntlet on
away
steroids.
mounds of people?
In Gauntlet, you fight like 20 enemies at a time. In Dynasty Warriors, you fight like 200 enemies at a time.
Yeah.
And they all take like just one hit to go down.
Do you want to play a game where you just mow people down?
Yeah.
Do you want to have no stress and just blow people away?
Relentless murder of thousands
just
and thousands of people.
Just link on a murder spree.
Yeah.
Then that's a game to play. But
Yeah.
it's a zero brain power game.
Yeah, exactly.
You
It's
did
the kind of
nothing.
thing you can play on autopilot.
Yeah.
Hey, it would be a great game to play while you listen to Press Pause, a gaming podcast.
It would.
Yeah.
It would. Yeah. So I've never played any Dynasty Warriors games, and I really have
Yeah.
no intention to. It's not my bag.
Apparently, the spin-offs are all the best ones. Like there's a Gundam,
Yes.
there's a few Gundam spin-offs of Dynasty Warriors that are apparently pretty good.
There's a spin-off that I did play. It's not just like Dynasty Warriors. It's not a Warriors game, but it was it was in the same vein.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it? Bladestorm. Remember Bladestorm?
Oh yeah.
So
I
you were
remember
a dude that like controlled the armies, and you told the armies what to do.
This is
There was two versions of the game. There was Bladestorm, the 1,000-Year War, I think it was called,
yeah. Like
and then
I
Bladestorm Nightmare was the other
I
one.
didn't play it, but I remember like seeing stuff from it. Yeah.
I remember playing the
Bladestorm.
shit out of the demo because I was like, "This is really cool." And then I think I bought the game much later, and I never really played it.
Was that was a PS3
PS3.
game? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the remake is out for modern consoles, but I never played it. Never played that one.
Yeah, there's also a Dynasty Warriors based on Berserk, which is one of my favorite anime franchises of all time.
There's probably 100 different like
Yeah,
licensed
because
games.
you just plug an aesthetic onto it.
Yeah.
The formula is basically the same.
Yep.
That's why there's so many of them. It's so easy to
Churn
do.
them out.
Like how there's so many different variants of Tetris.
Yep.
Just alter the formula a
theme
little
it.
bit.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And as for my last one, Among Us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely played Among Us.
It looks like it could be fun.
It's fun.
But I feel like I would get tired of it. Like I'd probably play like 10 rounds of it and go, okay, I think I've seen everything that this game has to offer.
100%. Yeah, it's not a game with legs. And I think
Yeah.
that's been proven because the game's kind of disappeared.
Yeah, but I mean, it had life
It had its
for
day.
a while.
It had its day.
It was very popular for like a year.
Yeah.
And it's crossing over with a lot of stuff, like
Yeah.
like Bellatra, like we said, which is probably how they're making a lot of their money now
have an idea.
is getting these crossovers.
Concurrent player count. Among Us. Let's see how popular it still is right now.
That's not bad.
5,000 people playing it still.
I mean, that game originally came out in like 2017. It didn't
Yeah.
take off until like 2 years after it came out.
Yeah, I think it
'Cause
was streamers that
Yeah, it was
caught
streamers.
on
Like
fire.
some streamer found it, was like, look at this weird little game I found, and then it was like, oh, this is kind of cool, and then everybody started playing it, which is actually
Yeah.
like this is a thing. If we ever did streaming or anything like that, that's the kind of thing I'd want to do is find
help
little
post small
games that
Yeah.
never got the kudos they deserved and try to get attention to them. Because
Yeah, I'm looking at the
that's awesome.
the concurrent player count. So for the first few months, it had under 30 people playing it. And then it kind of rose a little bit to like 200 to 600 players, and then something happened in that's what it was. So, I mean, the date gives it away. April 2020.
Oh,
That's when things started to shut down because of COVID.
oh.
April 2020.
I bet
April
you see a lot of
2020.
online games skyrocket.
Yeah, that's when
suddenly.
streamers were looking for something to
Yeah.
take advantage of it. So it skyrocketed to 1,234, and then by August, which was when everything was closed,
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
skyrocketed to 438,000
Holy shit.
concurrent players.
That is an incredible increase.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
That is. I wonder what their servers were like.
Yeah, I
Like,
have no idea.
do you think they were putting out fires in the server rooms?
Oh,
like,
every day.
We can't handle all these players.
They probably had to like call a server farm and be like, "We need to
Yeah,
rent.
probably.
We need to rent some servers, bro."
We'll take everything you have.
Yeah. And then it basically dropped off from a huge concurrent to down to about 28,000 by April 2021.
Yeah,
so it had a good year.
Yeah, you have I hate to use this term because it sounds really condescending, but you basically have tourists. You have people who come in and see, what's up? What's this game everybody's playing? Oh, yeah, this is kind of cool, but it's not really for me. It's not for me long term. I've had some fun with it. I played it for a week or two, and okay, that's cool. And then it settles down to the people who are like, no, I'm in this for the long haul.
So the funny thing about that game is that it's Mafia.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
They took Mafia and just gave it a coat of paint, and it took off. Because I used to play Mafia on StarCraft all the time. There was a Mafia mod on StarCraft all the time.
Yeah,
and it played exactly the same way, except you didn't walk around a map and do things. You issued a command for what you did during the day and during the night, based on whatever character you were. But it's basically exactly the same.
There's a Gmod variant that's very much like this called Trouble in Terrorist Town, where one of the players is a traitor and goes around killing the other people.
I think they're all based off of the board game One Night at Werewolf or something like that.
Something like that.
It's I have it. I have the board game. I've never played it, but it's up on my board game.
It's almost kind of like Clue as well.
Yeah, trying to figure out who did what and all that good stuff.
Or 13 Dead End Drive in a way. That one's a little bit different because everybody's controlling everybody.
Yeah, it's much simpler.
But and you have it's like instead of one person is the traitor or the killer or whatever, everybody is the killer trying to focus on whoever's. But it's a game where you're plotting to be the last one standing in a giant murder fest.
The main problem that I ran into with Among Us is that you need a good group. If you get a group of trolls, then you're just wasting your time. You have to get people that are going to play it, and they're not going to be dicks, and they're going to play their role. So many times I would play that game, and
people are just fucking around.
They would troll. They wouldn't be the killer, but they'd be like, "I'm the killer," and it's like, dude, shut up. Like, if you're not the killer, then don't say you're the killer. Like,
you know what the other problem is though?
What?
Is that if you get a group of people that you play with all the time, you start to know what they sound like when they're lying.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
And then you
gotta be a good liar.
Then it becomes too easy.
Well, if you play the game, if I remember correctly, unless you play it with people that you know, it doesn't have voice chat.
But even then, just the way that people the way
their
that
inflections in text.
Yeah, just how they try to prove their innocence. It's like,
I think that's why
that sounds like a thing that you would say if you were lying.
Yeah,
because I've played with you 100 times, and
I think that's why it was popular.
When you were lying.
I think that was why it was popular with randoms. Yeah, you couldn't learn unless you play with them for
you need to get a sense of their mannerisms.
Yeah. I'd recommend playing it just so you can say you played it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, it doesn't have legs, but it's fun. Okay, my last one is Dwarf Fortress.
I actually have played that, and
they remade it recently with actual graphics instead of.
Symbols. I always felt like Dwarf Fortress was for people who wanted to feel like they were way smarter than they actually were, just because they had the patience or the obsessive compulsive disorder to put up with all the micromanagement.
Well, I'm the only reason I put it on this list is because it's what started its genre, which is very interesting because nobody calls them dwarf legs. They just credit Dwarf Fortress as being the game that kind of started that genre. Colony Sims is basically what they call them now. And I love Colony Sims. I love probably the most popular one is RimWorld, which is great. But yeah, I never actually played the one that started them all. But I love those types of games.
It's like if you played SimCity, but you had to actually manage how many cars were on the road
and people, what they were doing,
and how
food.
How many people are taking a crap in a building at the same time? If too many people are flushing the toilets, the building floods or something like that.
Yeah, I love those kind of games. I love like Banished, which is not a. It's a colony
Yeah,
sim, but not at.
Banished is not Banished is way closer to SimCity. It's not
Yeah.
nearly like the most micromanagey thing about Banished is like the food that you store in the
Yes.
barn. It's like, oh, well, you've got berries and you've got potatoes, and so it's not just food. It's like different types of food. But
Yeah. The reason I
Banished-
like games like Dwarf Fortress more than Banished is because games like Banished, the gameplay loop relies on you getting new buildings and new things to build. And
Yeah.
when you reach a certain
once you got
point,
everything,
then you have everything, right?
Yeah.
So then the only benefit to continuing to play is your city gets bigger or your town gets bigger.
yeah, and at a certain point, it basically just automates itself.
Yeah. But with a
I
game
mean
like
that's
RimWorld,
basically winning.
yeah, you've won at that point, right? Where
You might as well just start a new town.
yeah. But with a game like RimWorld, there's always something else that you need to do. It's like, you make too many of these. Oh shit! Now these are not gonna keep up. So you gotta, there's always micromanaging to do. So I think that's why I like those games a little bit more. I don't think there is a perfect colony sim. RimWorld's great, but it has.
Well, there's
really,
no such thing as a perfect colony.
It's true.
So
It's true.
there's always going to be problems.
In the same way that I look at that genre, I look at genres like the Valheim's genre, and I go, I would love to see a AAA developer make a game in this genre. Put a big budget on a Valheim or a colony sim, and
With an asterisk that says without publishers fucking it up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I want to see a
That is
big budget version of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're very cool
not
games.
turned into some fucking looter shooter bullshit.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
hero
don't,
shooter or
don't
whatever.
meddle with them.
Just let them do it.
polish the shit out of them, and I would love to see that kind of stuff. Be super
Yeah.
cool. All right. Did you have any bonus ones you wanted to mention? I don't. Obviously, I have none.
God, if I were to go on,
Okay.
I could go on.
we might be here for 10 years.
Dude, we're getting close to the 3-hour mark.
Oh shit! Then we should move on then.
Yeah, so I don't think we want to go into that.
All right. Then let's move on to our final segment, which is video game 20 questions. It is my
Yes.
turn to guess this week. You have chosen.
Yeah, so I have an easier one and I have a harder one.
Okay.
Which
Well,
one would you like?
You are 1-1, and I am 0-1. So I will take the easy mode to try and catch up.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Let the questioning begin.
yes.
Let the questioning begin. All right. Gonna go with this. The
old standard.
actually, you know what? I'm gonna change my first question.
Ooh.
Moving forward, I'm gonna base it on the theme of the week.
Okay.
What's a popular game?
That's hard to say.
You can choose not to answer if you think it's too ambiguous.
I'm gonna say, relatively speaking, no.
No. Okay. All right.
But in order to know what it's relative to, you'd have to know the era.
Yes. So, question number 2: Did this game release on or after January 1st, 2000?
Yes.
Did this game release on or after January 1st, 2010?
No.
Okay, so we have a Naughty's game.
Mm-hmm.
Was this game exclusive to any console?
No.
Okay, we have a third-party game, or a first-party game that was released on multiple consoles, which didn't happen back then.
Yeah, except if it was like, here's a game on the GameCube and then a weird little GBA version.
Yeah, exactly.
But that didn't usually happen unless it was on everything.
And I wouldn't count that anyway, because they're two different games back then.
Yeah.
They may have been released simultaneously, something like that, but you wouldn't call.
Did you ever play the GBA version of Splinter Cell? Because
No.
it's not what I would describe as Splinter Cell.
Exactly, right.
It's a fucking side scroller, dude.
Yeah, can't imagine that.
I mean,
was any
you could have done a decent Splinter Cell ish game on the GBA. There was a decent Max Payne and there was a decent Tony Hawk. Not a replacement for the real thing, but it was at least like, oh yeah, I can see.
Yeah. Was this game on PC?
No.
Interesting. Okay. Did this game release during the PlayStation 2, GameCube, OG Xbox generation?
Yes.
Was this on GameCube?
Yes.
Okay. There wasn't a whole lot of third-party games that were on GameCube as well as the other two consoles, so... Was this a licensed game?
No.
Okay. How many questions am I at?
I wasn't counting because
Shit.
you've told me that you're good at this. Well, let's go back. You asked your first
That's why I
question
hold,
was
hold my hands up when
yeah.
I'm...
You asked was it well reviewed?
Yeah. Was it popular?
Post 2000, pre 2010, GameCube, PS2, Xbox era, exclusive. Was that all the ones you had? Oh, and was this a licensed game?
Was this a licensed game? So I'm at
So
6.
you're 6 in.
Okay.
You're 6 in. I will have my hands up now.
Okay. Question 7. Not a licensed game. It was on GameCube. Wasn't exclusive to the GameCube.
I am willing to give you a hint, but the hint I'm going to give you may not necessarily be helpful. So
I'll take it later if I get off
if you
track.
feel the need to.
I'm still early.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get in. I'm trying to get into Andrew's mindset of what kind of game he would pick for me. Okay. Wasn't necessarily popular. Okay. Was this game played in the first-person viewpoint?
It has a first-person mode, I believe. Let me double check because it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Don't strike me, YouTube.
Yeah. Okay, I can. Yeah, I've got headphones on. You won't be able to hear the music. I didn't want to give you any hints for the music.
That would ruin it. I'd have to go with hard mode at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. However, you may have just given me a hint that the music is recognizable. I'll take it. I'll take the free hint.
Okay, so here's the problem. I'm not able to find just flicking through YouTube footage.
You can say you don't know. That's fine. If you don't know, then it just doesn't count. It's fine.
I have a screenshot here that looks like it has. It looks like it has a first-person mode. I will give you this. It is not by default a first-person game.
Okay. Okay. Then, man, what game could there potentially be a first-person view? But is primarily...
So that's 7.
Is this game mostly played in the top-down isometric view? Gotta be third person. Oh, but it's not like...
I know what game you were thinking of just then.
well, you might not. I was thinking of Star Fox Adventures.
Oh, really? I thought you were thinking of Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes.
Oh no. That makes sense too, though. That was kind of the thinking that I was getting. I was like, some third-person games you can go in, and aim in first person. So maybe that's what
There are some games in which you can do that. Is this one of them? Maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah, but it can't be Star Fox Adventures because it's an exclusive.
Nope.
And this is easy mode, so it couldn't be...
Well, it's easier mode.
Easier mode, yeah. It's not...
I considered something that would have been easy mode, but then I was like, that's too easy. I wanted you to feel accomplished when you got this.
Is there melee combat in the game? Do you shoot guns in this game?
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking at a potentially third-person shooter that's not exclusive.
You are 10 questions in.
Is this a cover-based shooter?
No.
Okay. I thought you may have been going towards the originator of the cover shooter before Gears of War, which was Kill Switch. Yeah.
I played that on the GBA, also a game that had a GBA version.
Of course it did. Okay.
I was just curious.
Okay, so
I was like, could it possibly be decent? And no, but it was technologically impressive for the GBA. It was 3D-ish.
You do shoot guns in this game, but it wasn't exclusive. I keep thinking... See, when I think of GameCube, I think lots of exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think of a lot of third-party stuff that was on multiple fronts. Was this game only single player?
No, it was not. It did have multiplayer.
It did have multiplayer. Was the multiplayer cooperative?
Let me check here. I don't actually know.
Okay. I won't count that one then.
Yeah.
There is multiplayer, but it is unknown whether it is competitive or co-op. Third person, man. I feel like I'm down the wrong path. Third person, PlayStation 2, Xbox OG, and GameCube. Third person shooting game. How could this be? Did this take place in like modern Earth?
No.
Okay. Is this a sci-fi game?
Yes.
Okay, a sci-fi third-person game. Potentially third-person. I never really qualified it as being a third-person shooter. Did I?
No.
No.
It is a game that has a third-person and first-person perspective, and you do shoot things. But does that necessarily make it a shooter? Maybe. Maybe not. Lots of games where you shoot things. Would you consider Space Invaders a third-person shooter? It's a third-person view and you shoot things. But you wouldn't call it a third-person shooter, would you?
No.
14, by the way.
Man, I've got to get this to restore some credibility. But I'm having a real tough time picturing what this game is. Especially...
You just need the right question and it'll all fall into place.
I can't ask that question because that would be using a question. Shit. It's not licensed, but you do shooting in the game. Potentially in third person, maybe. But it can't be a top... It's not top down. We've established that. Not isometric. So it's gotta be... it could be side-scrolling, but what the hell would... Oh... no, there wouldn't be any first-person mode in that game, but it is a sci-fi game. But no, it's exclusive to GameCube. No. I was barking up Ikaruga, but...
Ikaruga is not exclusive to GameCube.
I don't think it was ever on PS2 or Xbox, though.
It was on Dreamcast.
It was on Dreamcast?
I think it was only in Japan on Dreamcast.
And then it was on PC as well.
Yeah, and it is now on PC, and it was also on Xbox 360. It's been re-released digitally in a lot of places.
Given that you're giving me this information, I don't think it's that game.
It's not Ikaruga. No.
Okay. Shit. Could be an RTS? There wasn't really any RTS games on that generation, and you wouldn't have a first person. I get two into my head in this. Is this I don't know if that would help me. Developer from Japan.
No. You are now 15 questions in.
Oh, it's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good.
I still got that hint I offered you. But
yeah,
remember,
you know what? I'll take that now.
Okay, just remember...
It might not help me, I know.
It might not help you. The game I've selected has something in common with the game you selected last week.
BioShock Infinite was the game I selected last week.
Yes.
That was a first-person game. So maybe it's a game made by Ken Levine.
Maybe it has something major in common. Maybe it has something very minor in common. Could be anything. That's why I said it might not necessarily be helpful.
Let's see what things about that game. Yeah, the game is a first-person shooter, so it's not that it's got in common. It had a female in it. It had a mechanical bird in it. It had dimension warping in it. Ken Levine made it.
When this is over, you're going to ask me what it had in common with, and I'm going to give you an answer, and it's going to make you really angry.
I think I'm going to get off of this subject then.
It's gonna make you so upset. That's why I warned you that it might not be helpful.
Yeah, that's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna.
Still 4 answers and a guess.
All right. Did EA, Activision, or Ubisoft publish this game?
No.
Well, that's a problem. It's not Japanese developed. Who the hell made this game? Oh, good lord. Tay is talking to me. Are you trying to tell me the name of the game? No? Okay. You know what? I have to ask it at this point just to fucking get rid of it. I don't think it's going to be, but I have to ask it. Is it a third-person shooter? Yeah, I didn't think it was. Fudge. Fudgicles. But you do shooting in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is in third person. You must see yourself somehow. Because it's not first person. Can't be any like light gun shooter type game. That's first person. It's not a top.
Also, how many light gun shooters do you know of on the GameCube?
Yeah, that's fucking true. It's not licensed. What kind of shooters would be on the GameCube, but aren't first person, third person, isometric? Oh, no, that's exclusive. Ballsack. The fuck is this game? Brain freeze.
You're gonna be really mad at yourself if you don't get this, by the way.
I'm definitely going to be mad. Do I love this game?
Don't know.
Okay. Do you know if I've played this game?
I don't know if you've played this game.
Okay.
I hope you heard the emphasis in that word.
So it's part of a fucking series, and I'm not even thinking about it. So what the shit is this game?
There is your second hint.
I've had 2 hints. It's a game that's part of a series, but not licensed. It's on the GameCube.
You could be on the precipice of getting this.
I could be. It could
you
click.
You just need to ask the right question.
I know, there's a question that I'm missing here, and I think it has to do with genre, because that's what I'm missing.
Maybe.
There's no other shmups that I can think of that are on those platforms. I think I gotta get my brain out of GameCube mode. I gotta get it into PlayStation 2 and Xbox mode.
That might be the angle.
A game where you shoot guns, but it's not a first-person shooter, it's not a third-person shooter, it's not an isometric shooter, and it's not a top-down shooter. What other shooters could it possibly be? Side-scroller? How would a side-scrolling shooter be on those consoles, though? Is this a side-scroller?
No.
What other genres are there? There you shoot guns! Ah!
You'd be so angry. You've got one more and then your guess.
I have a cat whisker right here. I'm gonna shove it in my eye right now. What other games where you shoot guns, Trevor? Games where you shoot guns. What type of genre am I missing?
This is painful to watch.
It's painful for me. It's not. What? You shoot shit. It's not third person, it's not first person, it's not isometric, it's not top down. What other games do you shoot shit? Ooh. Do you drive a vehicle in this game?
Yes.
Oh, ballsack. Oh,
but that was number 19.
Yeah, okay. Okay, but wait, hold on. It's multi-platform, so it's not Twisted Metal. It could be Vigilante 8. But I feel like I've played... Well...
Was that even on the PS2 and the GameCube? That was N64 and PS1, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, it was. You're right. Stop giving me hints. Now I feel like a chump. A vehicular shooting game.
You're so close.
I'm so fucking close. That was multi-platform. But it wasn't Twisted Metal. It's not Vigilante 8. It's not All-Star Destruction Battle Royale bullshit. Oh my god. Oh. No. You can't shoot. You don't shoot in that game, though. But I don't think you shoot guns and shoot. No. I'm thinking Smuggler's Run, but I don't think... You definitely don't shoot in that game. You're basically just racing to an objective to get the objective and then go back. Unless there was a game in the series that I didn't play that all. I think there was a Smuggler's Run 2, and I'm probably thinking of Smuggler's Run 1. But did Smuggler's Run 2 come out on GameCube? That seems unlikely. And you're right, I'm probably going to hate myself.
Yeah.
A vehicular? Trevor, you need to make a guess, but have you thought about any other vehicular combat games besides Swiss Middle?
There is a question you've already asked that you're not thinking about.
Question that I've already asked that I'm not thinking about.
Yeah.
Okay, I've thought about being...
You got an answer that could really help you out here.
Okay. Licensed? That's not going to help me, because it's not licensed.
You should have been writing them down.
It could potentially be first person, but that still doesn't really help me. Oh, hold on. My brain's going in a different direction now. Oh, no, that's exclusive. Okay, hold on. My brain's going in a different direction now. I went from, like, vehicular combat type Twisted Metal games to, like, Rogue Squadron, Crimson Skies. Those are all exclusive. Base shooter or an air shooter. Star Wars Squadrons, that's too new. Oh, God. I'm gonna hate myself.
Yeah.
I should have asked, have I mentioned this game yet? That would have been a good
Yeah, that
question
would have been a
to
good
ask.
one.
Because it could be Smuggler's Run 2, and I just didn't play it. And I just didn't know it was available on GameCube, but I feel like it was a PlayStation game. Oh, no. It could be a kart racer, but nothing that I can think of back then would have been multi. Oh, I think I'm screwed here.
Maybe take a long shot guess. Maybe it'll be it.
Yeah, the only one that I can't answer definitively is Smuggler's Run 2. I can't definitively answer whether there's weapons in that game or not. The rest of them I can at least rule out from various viewpoints. Yeah. Is it Smuggler's Run 2?
No.
Fuck. Give me more clues. I gotta get it.
That's not how the game is played.
I gotta get it just to appease my brain.
That's not how the game is played, my friend. I'm sorry to have to do this to you.
Oh, this is gonna fucking hurt. Should I take
Extreme
like a...
G3.
You're right, I should have got that. That one.
Extreme G3.
Yeah.
It was on the GameCube and the PS2. It is a sci-fi game. You are in a vehicle. I'm pretty sure it has a first-person... I didn't actually play Extreme G3, but we both played the first two, and those had first-person modes.
Yeah,
and
I
most
would not
racing
have got
games
that.
have them.
No. Okay, I feel better. As I definitely wouldn't have got that, because I didn't even know they made one for GameCube.
Oh, really?
No, I had no clue. I had no idea that they made one. I remember playing Extreme G1 and loving it, and Extreme G2 was kind of...
We played it together.
Yeah. Extreme G2 was okay, but the first one was better, and then, yeah, I had no clue they made a GameCube one.
Yeah, and they made a fourth one.
I guess it would have been for everything, but...
It was for PS2 and GameCube.
PS2
and then they made a
GameCube.
fourth one called XGRA, Extreme G Racing Association, for PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. And that was like...
Was that Acclaim that made those games?
Yeah. So that was like right before Acclaim melted down.
Yeah, I was going to say. That sounds like Acclaim stupid shit at the end, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
But I remember we really liked Extreme G1.
Yeah. Great game.
And as for what it had in common with last week's game...
Yeah, I have no clue.
Third game in the franchise.
Yeah, that would do it. Yeah. Damn, yeah. No, I never even... That wouldn't have crossed my mind if it was in the N64 era, but... Yeah, I had no clue.
That was the thing, is I thought about doing Extreme G, but then I was like, he'll get that like right away. There won't be any satisfaction to that.
Yeah, I think you're giving me too much credit. I'm good. I'm good at asking the right questions, but I don't think I'm as good at narrowing it down or remembering like more obscure stuff. That's my problem.
Yeah,
There's a lot of information up here.
Just be
Finding-
grateful you didn't pick hard mode this week.
Oh god, yeah, I'll never pick hard mode. There's no way. Clearly, I am not fit for a hard mode.
Hard mode was, I mean, not obscure or unheard of, but I think you would have gotten into a million years.
No, definitely not. All right, it's been a long show, so let's
It's been a
wrap it
very
up.
long show.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I can be reached on Twitter at COE_TJLeo.
And I can be reached on Twitter at @ninjas.
Did I say it on Twitter, or am I just that tired that I didn't even say that part?
No, you said on Twitter.
I said on Twitter. Okay.
Yeah.
You can email in your questions to be featured on the show, just like the big sicko did, to co.op.podcasts@gmail.com, or you can tweet at us.
Long show.
It's a long show, and I'm hungry. I'm starving. That probably didn't help my brain power.
Yeah, it is almost 10. So
oh, Jesus. I haven't eaten
past
since...
time for food.
Yeah, I haven't eaten since noon, so I'm hungry. All right, don't forget to comment, like, share, and you can click up. I always get
somewhere around there.
Yeah, click up here to subscribe, and if you missed the last episode of Press Pause, a gaming podcast, click down here.
It will be somewhere else.
Yep. And that's our show. Now get back to gaming. We are out.
Out.